Hello, and welcome back to my stream. We're live again, baby. We're out here chilling. It is currently 6 o'clock at night in Europe, or my part of Europe, and it's probably like 9 a.m. where you are. I had an awesome week playing at Euroblast, and I want to do a quick shout out to Kyle, to Cuntwin, and to Caesar. What's up, Caesar? How you doing, man? You're actually watching today. You're not on audio mode, dude. That's super sick. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, have a good day, Cuntwin. We'll see you later. So I'm trying out this new stream schedule. I wanted to kind of tell you guys about it here. Give me 1 second. Let's put on some background music. Bam. Put on some background music. There we go. Just a little something in the background to break the noise. You might hear it. You might not. Let me know if it's too quiet. But, yeah, we're going to try a new schedule. I'm going to try streaming 2 days a week moving forward so I can get some more fan time, community time directly with you guys with what I'll call undivided attention, even though I'll be doing stuff on stream like maybe gaming or writing music, or we'll be watching some YouTube videos, music videos. I was also thinking of doing like group gaming days. In the past, as you guys know, we have done Valheim servers with the Discord community. We've done Minecraft servers. We did Deep Rock Galactic, Space Engineers. We've done a bunch of different stuff. So I was thinking of trying to bring that back maybe with something like Among Us, which is a fun new deception game. Oh, we did Phasmophobia. That was a good one. That was fun because I was like basically playing in the dark, and every time something happened, I was like, ah! But I didn't have my camera on. Because it was a Discord event and I was trying to save some bitrate. But now, hopefully, with really good internet and an upgraded computer, we should be all set. We'll try it again. Kyle said, rock and stone to the bone! Absolutely, dude. Rock and stone. And actually, before we go too much further, I just want to do a quick shout out to the followers who came through on previous days where I was not streaming. So MTLax007, Full Stop, and Just a Bumblebee. Thank you so much for the follows. And it looks like Wiener Police gave out a sub. Hey, thanks so much for that, Wiener Police. Super appreciate that, dude. Welcome to the stream if I haven't talked to you before. Your name doesn't register in my memory, so hopefully I didn't miss you previously, you know? Yeah, so let's talk about what happened at Euroblast. I have cool photos to share, I have cool videos to share, maybe some behind the scenes stuff to talk about, but I kind of wanted to recall for you guys my perspective of how Euroblast went, what it was like the weeks coming up to Euroblast, especially because I live in Germany where Euroblast takes place, and then Mark and Alex live in Arizona, and then Sean lives in Canada. So I thought it might be kind of fun, at least for the VOD, and those of you that are here, you can ask questions if you want, and I'll try to clarify or give you my perspective on some stuff. I know that Caesar was there. Caesar, thanks so much for coming out, dude, and for live streaming in our Discord while we were playing. That was super cool of you. Caesar says, I have a few cool photos. Let me know if you want them through Instagram, mail, WhatsApp, etc. Yeah, if you want to toss those at me, I will absolutely take them. The email is info@kardashevband.com. And if you're able to do them uncompressed, just meaning like full resolution, that would be super. We had about, with the Euroblast press and our own press, our professional press that we brought in, we had about 10 videographers / photographers. So we had a bunch of different angles of everything that we did. The set list was only 40 minutes long. We weren't a headliner or co-headliner. We were technically an opener. But we still did a great job, and that room was what felt like full from our perspective. There's a video from Sean's drum kit where all the lights are on and he's kind of panning around sort of the room, and it looks pretty full to me. Realistically, it's probably closer to like 80%. So if it's a 2,000 cap room, what is that, 1,600? Yeah, something like that. So yeah, super cool, dude. Send those my way if you can. So, Euroblast, it was last weekend, and at this point, everybody has gone home. They all left yesterday. Sean left the day before, 2 days ago, and they all made it home safely. Mark is absolutely ruined with jet lag, but Alex said he's doing okay, and Sean said he's doing okay as well. So that's huge. Okay, So, for the first time in 8 years, Kardashev got to play a show. And in those 8 years, we had... let me scooch back. The last time we played, and I'm just going to use this as a reference, we might have played one more show after this, but the last time we played was in about 2015 at UK Tech Fest. This was also a festival, and the reason that we played it is it was an invitation. It was our first and only, at that point, invitation to play a festival that was overseas, and we got the notification through the record label we were on at that time. So it felt like we were on the verge of sort of building our live performance, momentum, right? It's like, oh, we start here and then eventually, maybe we'll play festivals more often, right? That's kind of the idea. Hi, Jenny. Hi, sweetie. I think Jenny's in the bath already. No, she's probably just running the water. Big Bear gave... poor Mark. Big Bear gave everything. Yeah, he did, actually. And we'll get into that a little bit about kind of what was going on in our individual lives as I explain sort of how this all came to be. So back in 2015, we played UK Tech Fest, and it was super cool, good networking. We performed well, but we had technical difficulties, so the set wasn't preserved to then be sort of distributed later online somewhere. But this time, while we didn't run into technical difficulties, our performance wasn't excellent. It was just pretty good. So we're actually combing through the audio recording of our live set at Euroblast and also the video footage that was captured by the Scream Dudes team. And we're kind of deciding which songs sound the best, and then we'll release those. However, I have some good news for those of you that are our enlisted travelers, those of you who support us through the website. We are going to have a full warm-up performance video with audio, the performance audio, available through our website to our enlisted travelers. So if you guys want to check that out and you're interested in behind-the-scenes stuff, go ahead and sign up today at kardashevband.com. Also, is Cuntwin Gianluca? Wow, Gianluca is in the chat. Cuntwin, what an interesting... You got to tell me how you got this username. Okay, I digress. So, we played UK Tech Fest, and then we came back home, and I think we played like one local show, and then we never played again. And part of the reason for this is because after playing the festival, like I said, we had technical difficulties, and it kind of put a bad taste in our mouth. Like, we weren't really sure if we wanted to keep doing it without spending tons of money to make it like super awesome. I mean, we did everything we could to, we brought a projector. We didn't have a drummer at the time, so we used to use a projector to kind of fill in the interesting stuff at the back of the stage. Typically a drummer who's on a riser behind the singer is interesting enough to just watch them, so you don't really need a whole lot going on. But because at that time we didn't have a drummer in our configuration, we were trying to do sort of more from like an audio-visual perspective. We took a lot of inspiration from the artist Tycho. If you guys know who that is, he's incredible. I highly recommend watching his Boiler Room session on YouTube. It's fantastic. I'll post it in the Discord if you guys want to check it out. What we were doing was, it was me, Mark, and Chris, our old bass player, not current bass player. It was the three of us at the front of the stage, and then we had a projector just kind of shooting this really cool sort of After Effects 3D tutorial-oriented sort of visual video going on. So it lined up with our music and perfectly. Like if there was like a mute, the visual would like turn black and then come back. So it was all triggered and lined up just kind of like our guitar tones are, or vocal effects, or things like that. They're all built in as part of the performance. So it was really cool, and it worked for a while. But after we came back from UK Tech Fest, a little time went by, and then our bass player was moving across the country, and he didn't really have the skill set to record himself or to sort of virtually or digitally like participate with the band. That's just not the world he comes from. So we decided to cut ties with him as he moved with his fiancée to the other part of the country. And then it was just down to me and Mark. And it was just the two of us for a hot minute, and we were writing The Bearing of Shadows. While we were writing The Bearing of Shadows, Alex reached out to us and said, hey, I'll play bass for you guys. I already play bass in Holy Fawn, and I do a pretty good job. Also, Alex comes from a guitar player's world. He originally was a guitarist in like death metal bands and like more technical oriented death metal bands. So he knew how to like write riffs in odd time. He had really dexterous hands and fingers, and that made him more appealing as a bass player because then we could marry our riffs a little bit more, right? So we hired him in for The Bearing of Shadows, and then we found Sean through Instagram, and we asked him if he would like to get paid to work on The Bearing of Shadows with us, and he said yes. Well, the working relationship with Sean and Alex wound up being so good that we just said, hey, you want to just keep going with us and keep writing albums? And they said, yeah, that sounds great. Well, then we got signed to Metal Blade Records, and the four of us decided that with the opportunity to be on a big record label, we wanted to just make more albums. But we also discussed the possibility of playing live. Then a year later, COVID happened. So this would have been in 2018, we released The Bearing of Shadows. In 2019, Metal Blade signed us and then re-released it. And then in 2020, COVID hit. So at that time, we didn't have the option to tour or play live really. So we kind of just took it out of our heads and said, we're not even going to worry about this. Well, fast forward to about last year this time. Daniel, what's up, man? I'm just telling the story of how we got to the point of playing Euroblast this year. Welcome, dude. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're getting some rest. Look forward to talking to you a little bit. So fast forward to about last year this time, right? So, September, October. I was at Euroblast in Jenny's company, and I was talking with Mark. Oh, Mark was there. That's right. Mark was there last year. He was Chatty Daddy. And so the three of us, Mark, Jenny, and I, all were kind of discussing in passing how beautiful Euroblast is, right? How sort of how lovely it was that the people were so friendly and warm and inviting, and it's an okay sized festival. It's 2,000 people on average, but it's definitely not like Rock AM Ring or Arctangent in the tens and 20s and hundreds of thousands of people. So it's more like tight knit. It's more close. I can go up to the guy who runs the festival, Daniel and John, and I can say to them, hey, I'm looking for this person. Can you help me? And they'll probably find them for me. I can imagine that as the festival business scales into the hundreds of thousands of fans, it's harder to get a hold of people like the showrunner of the festival. They probably have a lot more people working for them, and so it delineates down to who you're able to speak with. Daniel says, congrats on the show. Resting well. Love the German stories from you. Daniel and John the Goats. Yeah. Yes, dude. Thank you. I love sharing these stories, and so hopefully I'm doing them justice by telling them emphatically and with a lot of transparent emotion, because it's a beautiful way to share these stories with a lot of expression. Anyways, so last year, Mark and I went up to Daniel and John and we said, hey, we don't know how, and we don't know when, but we would love to play Euroblast one day. And they said, we would love that too. That would be great. And everybody's so friendly. Everybody hugs each other and says, thank you so much. And some people get hyper emotional and teary eyed at the idea of how meaningful it is to their personal life. And so Mark and I went home. We flew back home to Arizona after last year's Euroblast, and we talked about it for like weeks later. Every time we would talk on Discord or when we were in person talking, because remember, we were still writing, that would have been the new album. Yeah, so our new album we were in the process of writing last year, which is done now, but we were still writing it then. So when he would come over on like a monthly/weekly basis, depending on when it was his time to record, we would talk about how cool Euroblast was and how nice everybody was and how much fun it would be to actually play again one day, because at that point we hadn't played for 7 years, right? This year makes it 8 years. So we're talking about this, and he said, you know what, we should reach out to them and see if they can help us play the show. And what that really means, without getting into the details of it, is we should ask them if they can increase their payout for us as a band coming all the way from America, even as small as we are, relatively speaking to the other bands that would headline there. And we should ask them if they can help us financially get a little bit more money so we don't have to pay so much money to go there. That was the idea. And we were able to work out an agreement where they could increase the rate that they were offering, which then helped us get a lot closer to playing Euroblast. So in February, I called them, and I called Daniel, and I said, hey, let's have a call about like seriously talking about playing this festival, because now that Jenny lives, and by the way, this is an important note, I married Jenny last year, right the day before, like a couple days before Euroblast took place. So now we're married. So at this point, there's a lot of reason for me to come back to Germany, right, as often as I could. So we were talking to Daniel. We said, hey, you know, I'm going to come out there to visit Jenny anyway and be a part of Euroblast. Let's see if we can get the other guys to come out, and then we'll coordinate a performance. And it's a lot of logistics, but that would be awesome. What a great opportunity. And Daniel agreed. He said, yeah, if you can make it happen, we'll send you the contract and the terms and sort of the logistical outline. And then maybe if we can work it out, you guys come out here and you play Euroblast. So that was in February. And by about March, I think it was, that was in January. And then by about February, we agreed to it. We all committed to it. We said, okay, we're all going to go, with the caveat that if someone couldn't go and we couldn't hire someone to learn their job and then perform for us, that we would still play even with the laptop, you know, unmuted for the drums or unmuted for the bass or whatever had to be done. Like, we were still going to play in some kind of configuration so that the rest of us could go enjoy the experience. That was the plan. So Euroblast announces it. They say, hey, Kardashev's playing their first show in 8 years at our festival here in Cologne, Germany, and everybody should check it out. And our Discord community went crazy. Our Facebook went crazy. Everybody was like, oh my God, you're actually playing live? We didn't think this would ever happen. And we're like, we know. Neither did we, dude. Like, there's no way we thought this was happening. So in June, we're all beginning to practice. We build the set list, which if those of you are curious, I can tell you what the set list was. But again, we have that on Spotify. We do have that available to our Enlisted Travelers. We decided to start practicing. Now, the thing is, we can't practice together. Alex and Mark and I, we could, because we all lived in the same place, but not Sean. So Mark comes up with this idea, and it's not novel necessarily, but to us, we were like, whoa, that's genius. He said, what if we all just practice on our own to the same set list with a click track and like guides for the stage and everything like that. And then we just see if it's the same experience when we play live. So Sean's at home and he's listening to the whole set list, Mark's vocals, my guitars, Alex's bass, the backing tracks, the click track, and he's just playing in his basement all of his drums to each song. And then I'm at my house in Arizona with you guys probably streaming my practice, right? I'm practicing to everything minus my guitar. And Alex is at his house, which is about an hour away from my old house in Phoenix, and he's practicing to all the instruments minus the bass. And so we all did this on our own for 3 months. Then, at the end of June, I had the opportunity to move here to Germany. And it was very stressful, and I wouldn't wish it upon anyone, but we made it happen. And we finished our new album all at the same time. When I got here, I had very little equipment, and I didn't even have my computer for 3 weeks, I think it was, maybe 4 weeks. So I didn't get to practice for a little over probably a month and a half. And then I got all my equipment here, and Jenny took me to the one music store in this area, and I bought a new Kemper Profiler amp. I bought a new Headrush powered 12-inch speaker. I got everything I needed to pick up where I left off. Plug in the laptop to my Kemper, to use the headphone out from the Kemper into the Head Rush speaker and plug my guitar into the Kemper and press spacebar, and now I can hear everything and I can start practicing again. So I was able to pick up where I left off, and everybody else was in their own country, in their own home, practicing on their time. So fast forward to last week. Mark and Sean and Alex all arrived within about an hour of each other into Frankfurt. And Jenny and I took the train from Cologne to go pick them up. Once we picked them all up, we got back on the train and we headed back here. That night, we ate some really tasty dinner and then went to bed. And everybody was sort of feeling the extended travel time of moving 9 time zones, and trying to reset their internal clock to get everything situated for the upcoming days. So this was on Monday. So Tuesday morning, we all wake up, we have some delicious breakfast with Jenny here in the house, and then we all drive to a practice studio that was provided by a local band called Ayahuasca. This band has their own engineer that they pay to help them run the live sound for their performances. And they offered to let us meet him so that we could hire him for the same effect. This guy's name is Jan, and he's like over 2 meters tall. He's a monster, and he's really quiet. He's very typish. He's very typical German. You ask him, Jan, are you okay? And he's like, yeah. And you're like, tight, dude. And like, that's all you're gonna get from him. Jan, do you need anything from me? No. Okay, cool, dude. Thanks. He's really short-winded with his answers, which is cool. I personally come from this sort of brevity. Oh, Vadok Song, what's up, dude, with the gifteds? Yo, thanks so much for the support, man. That's awesome. Thank you for that. Daniel, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate all of you, but thank you for spending some coins here on the stream, man. That's really nice of you. So we meet Jan. He offers to let us practice at his DIY sort of studio. He has this industrial space that is part of a recycling plant, but it's in the sort of administrative building that the recycling plant no longer uses. It's like old and decrepit and dilapidated, and like it barely has electricity and running water, but he's taken time investing into that studio to like give it functional power and to make sure the toilet is usable, right? And doing all this stuff. So he has a little recording studio there that's still being built. And he offered to let us record our practices there with him because the console works, the monitors work, all the signals from the cables, they all work. It just doesn't look really nice. It looks industrial, like all the walls are made of cement and they have like big bolts sticking out of them that if you tried to even look at them, you'd probably get tetanus, right? That's kind of the extent of what this place looks like. And I have photos and videos that I'll be sharing here in a little bit to kind of show you guys and give you some context. But we go into this place and he has 2 amplifiers set up. He has microphones placed in the room. He has a spot for my laptop. He has a drum riser for Sean, and he's letting Sean borrow his drum kit and cymbals and snare and just about everything. And he was so considerate and thoughtful. He gave us everything we could possibly need to prepare to perform. You know, you've heard the old adage, practice how you play, right? I'm sure you've heard that, right? And what this means, for those of you that don't know, is it means don't practice because it's practice. Pretend like it's the performance. That way you're that much closer when you actually have to perform. You already know what you'll have to do. You'll know how hard you'll have to work. So that's the idea. And he facilitated that for us. He gave us the opportunity to practice how we were going to perform. Short of having like lights in our faces and like a huge crowd in front of us, he gave us that. And it was super amazing. And I have footage of this. I have pictures and videos, and I'm sure if those of you following Mark on Instagram, I'm sure you saw a bunch of the behind the scenes stuff where he's just singing and all you can hear is the drums and his voice, but you can barely hear his voice. It was really cool. So everybody arrives Monday. Tuesday morning we wake up, we go to this space, we arrive there. These guys get to meet Jan for the first time. And he helps us get situated and plugged in and get all of our instruments prepared to perform. He also put together in-ear systems that allowed us to hear each other, not just the drums in the room. So we had our own mic'd instruments, mic'd voices, mic'd drum kit, all being sent to our ears, and it was controlled with our phones. I don't know where my phone is. Oh, I think it's charging out in the living room, but I was going to show it to you. But it lets you control the mix in your ears, and this is through a technology that we are not familiar with because we haven't played a live show in almost 10 years. And you can imagine how much the tech has changed in that amount of time. The last time that we were performing together, we had a single wireless transmitter that would send a signal out to 4 wireless receivers for our in-ears, and we couldn't control the mix. Like, whatever we set the mix to in the computer, that's all we got. We didn't have this crazy sophisticated, Nico, you can make your drums quieter or your guitars louder, and it won't impact the rest of the band or the front of the house. You can turn off the bass if you want, or turn off the vocals if you want, if it's distracting you. You can turn up the click track. The versatility and customization options alone made it infinitely more valuable to us once the first day had begun. I don't think we all realized how awesome the technology was. We were all worried that we were going to have to learn how to play in a new environment, have the anxiety of travel, well, for those guys, have the anxiety of remembering the music, which, by the way, we played 2 songs that Sean and Alex didn't even write. They were from the Almanac. They weren't with us during the Almanac, so they had to learn them by ear and then do their version as close as possible to the record live, and they only had like 3 months to learn that music on top of practicing and getting ready for performance for 3 months. Kind of a wild timeline if you think about it. For those of you that don't know, when you are practicing music, it's one thing to do it how I do it, sitting here in a climate-controlled studio with light control, and I know nobody's going to come through the door and bother me unless Jenny's in an emergency or she just wants to troll me or something. And I just get to play to you guys. There's no change in the environment. But then to practice with the thought of being on a stage where you're standing, you're probably headbanging or trying to look a little bit more interesting while you're on stage, right? Your hair's down. All right, now I'm talking from my experience. You're playing a guitar that if you break the string, you now have to pick up a stranger's guitar, a backup, right? Hope it's in tune, like you tuned it before the show. Hope the strap is at the right level. Hope you can get everything plugged in and unplugged correctly, and then play as well as you did on your primary instrument. All of that is just in the practice for the performance, which we don't normally have to do because we don't perform. We do 50 takes back to back until we get it as close to perfect as we can just for the recording. It's crazy, right? That beautiful hair. Yeah, we're going to go through photos and videos here in a little bit, and you guys will see. I promise I look way cooler in the photos and videos than I do in real life. I don't know how these guys captured this, but I look like a fucking samurai, dude. I look like a ninja. I look like there's moments in there where I look like I belong in like a samurai movie, right? But it's like a cyberpunk samurai movie. It's kind of like Sin City where it's black and white, but it's kind of in the future. And I'm holding this like incredible looking guitar. It looks like it's from a spaceship and there's like lights coming out of it. They're not, they're just in the background, but that's what it looks like. Oh, it's crazy. I have never looked this cool in my entire life, and I never probably will again, but we can hope. Okay, so we're all practicing together on the first day. We run through the set one time, right? Because remember, the laptop controls all. Oh, worthy laptop, please see me, senpai. You press spacebar, and if you're performing, that's it. There's no take backsies, because you got to remember, in between the songs, you have this like ambient, like spacey rumble going on. It's like, and it's like, there's like stuff happening. And if somebody says like, hey, give me a minute, my thing is broken, you can't press spacebar because then all of the audio stops. All of it. All the rumbly stuff that occurs in between the songs you're performing, that's all on hold now. So, we run through the set together, one song at a time, because we've never played together before. And the first song in the set list is Glass Phantoms. Bombardina, right? It's that kind of thing. Caesar says, just so you know, Nico's even cooler than those pictures. I don't think so, but thank you, Caesar. So I pressed spacebar, and the plan was, I said to everybody, so here's what we're going to do. Now that we're all set, now that all of the signals are set and we can kind of hear ourselves talking to each other, and Jan gives us the thumbs up from the control room, we say, okay, we're going to do one song at a time in order, and then we're going to stop, and we're going to talk about what needs to change and what didn't feel right and what we could be better on, right? We play through the first song, and the song ends, and we stop and we all look at each other, and we're all kind of like smiling and excited. Like it finally feels real. Because you're thinking about it for months. You've been dreaming about it for years. And then all of a sudden you just did a whole song together. And not just a whole song together. You didn't have to stop because someone was under-practiced. You didn't have to pause. The laptop didn't break down. The laptop didn't like stutter and stop, and now we're having technical issues. Mark's microphone didn't cut out because there was an old battery in it, right? Like the things that you're worried about didn't happen. And you guys all did it together. And now you kind of have this like this joyous excitement, like, oh my God, this is real. I can hear Sean's drums right over here. You know, I'm facing this way, Mark's in front of me, Alex is to my left, and Sean's to my right. I can hear his acoustic set. Elwa, what's going up, man? How are you doing today? I can hear it, but I have in-ears in, so it's kind of muffling him in the room. But Alex has a bass amp, and so I can feel the room vibrating ever so slightly. And it's like, wow, this is fucking real, dude. Like, this is happening. We're 3 continents apart, and we've been together for 8 years, and we've never, ever heard each other in real time doing the thing that we've all been doing for so long. It's probably the equivalent of people who role play together, like on Dungeons and Dragons, like over the internet for years in a campaign, and then they all like meet up at Gamescom one year, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're Doofus 666," and it's like, "Yeah, dude, what's going on, man? You're not even a fairy in real life." You know, you get to like kind of rib each other and talk about it a little bit. That's exactly what it felt like. The energy we felt was amazing. That's so cool, dude. Thank you so much, Gianluca. Us too. Elwa says, "What's the feeling of being a live band?" I am talking about it right now, and if you can't tell by the look on my face, it was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Wait, you met at the Gamescom? No, I was just using a comparison of like a D&D group who only plays over the internet finally meeting at an event like Gamescom, right? So, we finished the first song. We don't have many technical issues. We get them worked out enough, but we're all just so excited that we're like, you guys want to play the next song? And we're all like, fuck yeah, like, let's go. Let's go. So back to the space bar. Next song, Beyond Sun and Moon. As soon as it comes in, we start playing. Everybody's in time with each other. Everybody can hear themselves and the click track, but also each other well enough that we're familiarizing with our equipment. We're familiarizing with the software, the hardware, vibing together in the room. Yeah, like letting all of that kind of happen was just so beautiful. It was lovely, and I would recommend it to anyone who hasn't already tried it. Go jam in a space with other musicians and just see what happens. So we run through the set, the whole thing. We do the whole first pass, 40 minutes of music and 30-second breaks in between each song. And it feels like surprisingly good. Like, you can project, you can think like, okay, we've been practicing individually for 3 months. We've been rarely communicating with each other. Because the other thing is, when you don't live nearby, you kind of aren't able to check in so easily. Like at one point in time, I said to Mark, like a month or so before he actually flew out here, I said, Mark, I want you to record your practice to this session, this performance, and I want you to send it to me, because the other engineer who's running our front of house, for those of you that don't know, that's the guy who's making the whole stage sound good for the audience. That engineer, his name is Ramon. And Ramon offered us the opportunity to record ourselves before we play, send it to him, in individual files. So Mark's recording, my recording, Alex's, Sean's. Send it to him, and he would build a mix for the performance before we even got on stage. Now, this doesn't mean that it's finished and it's perfect, but what it does mean is that he has an incredible balance of where to work from the start. He doesn't have to go in with a band that just got off the plane and he's never mixed them before, and then be like, oh, you have how many synthesizers? You have how many drummers, right? This is real life for a lot of front of house engineers. But with us, he offered to do it before we even saw the venue. This is big. This is huge. Again, another piece of the puzzle that we are just completely unfamiliar with because we haven't played in so long. We didn't know that was possible. We're like, what do you mean you're going to mix the show before we even get on stage? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm going to mix it. Because he has mixed in that building for so many years that he knows which frequencies are bad and which ones to get rid of with an EQ. He knows how long the reverb tail is on the snare as it cracks through that entire room, and how short to make the gate so that the snare pops instead of lingers, right? He knows how to do all that from memory, and he offered to preemptively do it for us. So we had Jan helping us in the practice, we had Ramon helping us prepare for the final performance of the sound, and everything was just coming together so, I want to say smoothly, but when you're in the moment, it doesn't feel smooth, you know? Looking back on it, you're like, wow, that actually kind of went really well. But when you're in the moment, you're like, wait, what do we have to do? How do we do that? How does it work? Wait, whose responsibility is that? Who do I get a hold of? What's that guy's name again? So many things just start to kind of give you that anxiety, and that's what can build up over time. And to jump ahead a little bit, the day of our performance, we had a 2-hour window to like warm up and stage our equipment. And for those of you that follow Mark on Instagram, you saw he posted a story, or maybe it's a post, you might be able to go see it still, a post of us acoustically playing our instruments and Sean just with a practice pad and Mark just singing a cappella, because he can't really, he only hears string noise, you know, he doesn't hear actual tone, actual melody. He just hears like ding dong, tick 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 dong, ding dong, ding. That's all he hears. We were able to practice in that room, and when we did, we all kind of said to each other, I'm not even nervous. And Sean looked at me and he's like, I feel ready. Mark said, I feel ready. Like, we had this strange confidence that in the behind the scenes video, for those of you who are ETP, you'll get to watch here soon. It's uploading on YouTube as we speak. In that video, at the end of the practice set on day 2, you can hear all of us conjecturing like, I think I'm ready. I think we're ready to go. Like, what more can we do? Because at a certain point, you work so hard that it's really just diminishing returns. It's just putting effort into a place where you're not going to see as much come from it. So you might as well not stress about it and try to get like, oh, 1% better. Just do it well enough. Just do it good enough, you know? Let me get caught up on chat here. Elwa says, how's it going in Germany? You told me that we're living in Germany now as a temporary. Yes, I am living here as permanently as they'll allow me. So we'll see how long it lasts. Something else to be a live band than a studio band. It's a lot of work as fuck. Yeah, dude, you're right. For those of you that don't know, Elwa's in a band called The Scalar Process, and they just went on a tour in Japan, and they play live a lot. And they also have similar struggles finding band members in the past. And so when you finally have the configuration, it feels like you won a sort of lottery. The excitement and the sort of gratitude that you feel for the universe around you with like, oh, thank you for finally putting me in the path of this bass player or this drummer, the two people who we were super grateful to get, Mark and I, that is, around the time of the Bearing of Shadows. It is definitely life-changing if it's right. Like, when it's right, it's life-changing because you can feel the trajectory of their effort impacting how hard you have to work moving forward. That's hard to describe, but you understand. If you know, you know. Elwa says, most front of house engineers were working always stressed by the fact that you use a splitter. So yeah, I'm dreaming of one day to be mixed by a guy who pre-recorded like he did for you. Yes, Elwa, incredibly powerful. Highly recommend. I hope you get the opportunity one day. Okay, so this was the first day of practice. We were all feeling pretty confident, but we knew that we needed to spend a healthy amount of time that day, of which we had 8 hours, but it took about 2 hours to get just set up. we had 8 hours of time with Jan that he was affording us to practice as much as possible in that time, which the set is 40 minutes. So really that's only like, we'll call it 8 sets with like a 10-minute break on every set afterwards. That's 8 sets of playthrough. But we didn't need to practice every song 8 times, we found out, because some songs were just that much easier for each of us. Like, I don't remember which song it is, but one of the songs, Mark was like, yeah, man, I feel great with this song. I don't think I need to do it again. That doesn't mean we didn't, but that was his feedback in between the sets when we were asking each other, you know, what sucked, what was good, what could we do better. So by the end of the first day, we all felt like we were in the presence of professionals. That's probably the best way I can word it. We had never practiced before together, but we trusted one another to practice with the tools we had available. And when we all got in the same room, it felt like everybody already knew their job. Everybody was making sincere efforts to learn the hardware and the software and to perform well. This felt really healthy. It felt really healthy is the right word, because then you don't have to like micromanage a person and say like, man, you didn't do your part. What's the problem? And then you get to be like sort of emotional about it, right? Instead, everybody here felt like they were a professional. Thanks for the hydrate. Super appreciate you, dude. I can feel my mouth drying out. I got sugar-free Coke syrup in my Sprudelwasser, and it's really tasty. If you're in Germany, we need to meet. I'm super down, dude. You had a show here recently, but I was too anxious and too busy with this preparation to make time to go. And so I apologize for that. If you play in Germany again, especially the western side, I would love to be there for you and meet you in real life. We've known each other. The tour went bad. Whoa, sorry about that. I guess that's life, right? C'est la vie. Haha, a little bit of French. We had water flooding in Czech. Woof. No thanks. That would have been very infuriating. We had something similar when we went on a tour in 2013, but that's a story for another time. So that night, the first night of practice, we all said, wow, we did a good enough job. Let's all go get some dinner and call it a day. So we met some friends, Jackie and Chris, at and Jenny, of course, she was there also. She's my lovely wife. I take her everywhere. The 3 of them met the 4 of us who took an Uber at this like Chinese food place, and we all had dinner, and it was great. And then we went home and we passed out. And remember, the guys are still dealing with a sort of jet lag, but they also have the adrenaline of how meaningful all of this was. So it's not like they had jet lag and they were being kind of lazy. It's that they had jet lag and they had the adrenaline to like push through it. So we all fell asleep at a reasonable time, about midnight, and then the next day we woke up, had breakfast again, and we again Ubered over to the practice studio. And today we were feeling more calm, more relaxed, right? Because remember, on top of us practicing together for the first time ever, this is also one of the only times we've ever hung out with each other. Let that sink in for a minute. Like, we work together over the internet, passing files back and forth and occasionally having Discord group calls, sort of saying like, hey, what'd you do on this song? Let's have you make these modifications. Nico needs to re-record this. Mark's going to try to layer that. And you have like technical conversations about making an album together. But being in person, there's this sort of rapport that you don't quite have yet. You don't know the mannerisms. You don't know if somebody's a hugger or if they're a high fiver, or you know what I mean? Like, some of those things are just what you're still working out. And that's just part of it. That's just the stuff I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, you also don't know how often one of the guys poops. Spoiler alert, some people poop a lot. So, the second day, we all get to the practice pad and our gear is already set up. We left the equipment there overnight. All the microphones didn't change because when we left, Jan left and he locked up the room and he was gone for the day too. So he meets us there at about 12:30 and we all get in the room together. We say good morning to Jan or good afternoon. And then he explains to us that he made some small changes, and so he's going to teach us how to incorporate those adjustments, and then we're ready to go. So again, we plug in, we tune up, Mark is doing his scales, warming up his voice. Sean's working on his pad with his feet and his hands, kind of getting his body warmed up. And he explains to us, he's like, hey guys, today I'm going to do the first set just kind of warming up because I'm not used to this drum set. I'm not used to the snare. I'm not used to this throne. He said, I'm not used to a lot of the equipment that I have to have in certain very specific down to the centimeter feeling place. So I'm going to try to familiarize myself with this a little bit more. And we said, okay, that sounds good. And Mark and Alex work out together that Alex is going to do some vocals on stage. Hi, Weather. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. I'm just recounting Euroblast and the steps it took to get to our performance on stage. Welcome to the stream. So we are working out the more nuanced details of our needs and what we want to provide to the fans. My part didn't really change much because I just play guitar, but Alex is capable of doing vocals while playing. I can do that too, but I definitely didn't practice it, and we didn't want to try starting it the last day of our practice before the festival, right? That wasn't the plan. So Mark said to Alex, he said, hey, do you want to do this one vocal in between sea and sky? You can do Move Me Forward all as lows so I can rest before having to sing. And he said, yeah, no problem. I do that in Holy Fawn sometimes, and it shouldn't be an issue. And we said, great. So we got an extra microphone going, and Sean's now warmed up at this point a little bit more than the previous day when we all went into it cold and we were thinking about a lot of other things like equipment and software. And I say to them, okay, let's do a warm-up set, and then we're going to do a performance set, and then we'll see how we feel. And they all agreed. So we spent the first 2 songs of the performance set warming up, and we were all feeling particularly good. Like, we knew that everybody had the sort of professionalism and the capability to do the job the day before, because we were feeling good then too. But now they got to sleep. Now we got to all have dinner together and relax a little bit from the jet lag and the anxiety of not knowing the sort of social nuances of one another. And we do the first couple of songs, and we're all looking at each other, and we're like, sounds fucking good, man. Like, good job. Like, we're all proud of each other now, right? It's this sort of development, this evolution of emotions. You start off unsure, but excited. And then you move into self-criticism because you know everybody can hear your mistakes. And then you move into the next day with this sort of like sense of pride and also excitement. And then the realization that it's not nearly as bad as all of your anxieties told you it could be, right? So we play through the first couple of songs and we're feeling good. We're loosening up, and we make it through the whole set. And we say, all right, let's go take a break outside. It's basically like a beer break, like a get some fresh air. Because remember, we're in a basement of this like old administrative building in a recycling facility. And we say, let's head down the hallway, up the stairs, and let's kind of chill outside in the nice weather. Germany at this time was probably, for those of you who are European, it's probably like 13 degrees, 14 degrees. And for those of you that are American, it's like between 65 and 70, right? That's kind of like, and don't check my math. That's just the feeling that I had. And it was overcast and a little bit sprinkly. And where we're from, specifically Mark, Alex, and I, it's hot as fuck all the time. Like, all the time. Like, right now, it's 110 degrees at my old house, right? And where they are. But here, it's raining all day. And it's overcast, and it's humid. So it's just a different thing, too. And that's another piece of the sort of adaptability conversation of humans, is that they came here from 0 humidity to, like, 60 or 50% humidity. And 25 degrees colder. So that's also an impact, a shock to the system, right? Alex was feeling it for sure. His nose was constantly dripping or clogged. He was blowing his nose all the time. His eyes were kind of red. And so we were like, oh, dude, don't get sick. Oh, God. He's like, even if I got sick, I'm still going to do it. I don't know why he sounds like my dad, but he does. Anyways, you all did the job on your own. That's how it worked out. Yeah, we did. We all came prepared. And that was huge, huge. So we finish the first set, we go outside, we take like a 20-minute break. Jan comes upstairs and he's like, hey, just so you guys know, I recorded that set. If you want to come listen to it, you can hear your mistakes, or you can hear what you want to do differently, and I'll give that to you. And we were like, oh, great, yeah. So we head downstairs and we listen in the studio now to our recorded warm-up take. And we're all kind of listening with a critical ear, and we're sort of smiling to each other like, if that's how we sounded on Friday, we would all be fine with it. Like, how much more do you expect from yourself, especially given the circumstances, right? Okay, so I look around at everybody and I say, all right, let's do it now as if we're performing. What this means is you can control a lot of things in the preparation, but you can't control a lot of things in the performance. I can't control the lights. I can't control the feedback. I can't control if I trip over a chord. I can't control if a drumstick comes flying under my foot and I lose my balance. I can't control if a fan wants to get on stage and do a stage dive, or, something. Like, there's so many things. Or if the power goes out, or if I can't hear myself because my headphone pack, the battery is lost, right? There's so much you cannot account for. You might as well just perform as if you're just doing the best you can for yourself. But without a manager, without a live engineer, without an in-ear engineer, it's up to you. And that's how I felt going into this until we met Jan and Ramon. And then this huge wave of relief came over me where I realized I don't have to do everything. And I don't need to know how to do everything. I just need to do my job and make sure I support the people that are around me, whether it be the band or Jan or Ramon. And support them by giving them the time they need, managing the emotions of other people who might be frustrated or nervous, trying to take it out on the wrong person, things like that. Like, I get to kind of manage that part of the situation instead of everything that included, right? So we set up again after listening to the second day's warm-up set list. And we all play through it as if we are performing. And we all felt like we were ready. So that was the last time that we ran through the set. We packed up all of our gear. We put everything away. We thanked Jan. We asked him what he was going to bring on our behalf and what we should pack up and take with us. And he then gave us the recordings from that day. And he said, I'll see you guys in 2 days. Because that was Wednesday. And Thursday, the band, Ayahuasca, whose equipment we were going to borrow for our performance on Friday, they were performing on Thursday. So they couldn't allow us to use their equipment realistically to practice on Thursday because they had to pack it up in the morning and bring it to the festival and then wait for their turn to perform. There was no way that we could do it. Furthermore, Jan is their live engineer, so he wasn't going to be available to let us practice in that practice room while also being at the festival doing his job for them. So we only got to practice the one full day. And then by the second day, we just ran through the set twice and we said, we're probably ready. Let's be done and make the best of the rest of our day. Thursday, I went to the festival with Jenny to help set up her booth and help her with her jewelry. She has a little jewelry business where she sells some cool stuff that she makes by hand. And I was there with her for that. And I was also making sure that I understood what Jan was doing for Ayahuasca, so I could understand it when our turn was coming up. What to expect. What does it look like to have all this new fancy equipment, fancy relative to my last memory of playing live? What does it feel like to support him in what he's trying to achieve for us? And what does it look like when he's doing his job so I don't feel stressed on Friday watching him do it? And I got that perspective. However, Mark, Sean, and Alex, they all decided that for their psychological and emotional health, they should stay home the first day of the festival and just relax, sort of come down from any remaining jet lag issues they were experiencing. Mark was resting his voice. He didn't want to speak very much that day, and he knew if he went to the festival on Thursday, he'd be talking to a lot of people. A lot of people. Because remember, the previous year, he was Chatty Daddy. He came to the festival specifically to talk to people. That was his job. They invited him to do that, actually. So this year he said, I'm going to take Thursday off, and then we perform on Friday, and I'll talk to anybody who wants to talk on Friday and Saturday. And that's it. That's basically what happened. So Thursday was awesome. The lineup of bands was super cool. Ayahuasca played. For those of you that don't know their music, I will do a shout out on them right now. They sound like the metal version of the band Spangle. For you, if you don't know who Spangle is, they're like this electronic EDM sort of world music kind of thing. And these guys effectively do it in the metal realm, right? They sort of bring worldly elements to their music. Their singer, I think his name's Pat, not only does like vocals, singing and screaming, I think he does singing, don't quote me on that, but he also plays the mouth harp, boing, 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 and he does like this like shaker / maraca thing, like, and everybody kind of has like more than one job, it seems like. Not everybody, but most of them. Gotta work a bit, Weather? Yeah, no problem. I'll be here. Thanks for the lurk. Thanks for hanging out and stopping by. But they all kind of have a different group of functions. So if you want to check them out, here's the link. Check them out on Spotify. Give them a follow. They were super kind dudes. Very helpful. Very considerate. They let us borrow all of their gear for our performance. Incredible. They do have sick guitars, yeah. And Eddie plays left-handed, so it's always fun to see somebody shred in a way that you maybe don't shred, right? First time chatter. Zin3, hello. Any news on future album or song? Sorry to interrupt. No, it's okay. I don't mind taking a quick break. I know I'm going fast and I'm trying to get it all out. Yes, our new album is finished. It is in the hands of our record label, Metal Blade Records, and it should be coming out sometime next year. I'm not allowed to talk about when, but it's not very far, if that makes sense. Yeah, they did have very good lighting as well. They did have their own lighting engineer, as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong, but as far as I know, they do have their own light tech, which made their show that much better. A Carvin left-handed? I didn't realize he had a Carvin. That's cool. I'll have to ask him about that. He and I are supposed to hang out eventually, but he's always busy, and I'm always kind of doing my own thing too. So we'll figure it out at some point. Regular John, what's going on, dude? Hey, fun fact, I'm your drummer's cousin. I don't know how to prove it without exposing personal info, though. You know what, Drummer John? I'm just going to take your word for it because it doesn't impact me very much. But hi, welcome to the stream. My name's Nico. I play guitar in Kardashev, and I was just hanging out with your hypothetical, supposed, maybe not really cousin for the past week, and he's great. I love him to death. January 1st, got it? Yeah, okay, good try, Kyle. Nice try, dude. Anyways, I'm your half brother. Oh no, he's here. He found me. Whoops. All right, back to the story really quick. Not really quick. That's the point of this stream. Okay, so we take the day off. Well, everybody does except for me. We take the day off on Thursday. I see Ayahuasca play live. I see a bunch of other really sick bands play live. Everybody sounded awesome. It was great. Friday morning rolls around. And we all wake up, and we're all a little bit, you can see we're a little bit anxious, but also we're confident. Confident but anxious. That's how I would describe the mood. Oh, and quick aside, up until this point, Mark and Sean were in an Airbnb, while Alex was staying with me here, actually on this couch right here behind me. He was staying here, and the reason for this is because Mark has a somewhat strong allergic reaction to cats, and we have 2. So he said it's probably in his best interest to just stay somewhere else before the festival. And then afterwards, he could care less if he's getting allergic reactions because he doesn't have to perform with allergic reactions. So then he was going to stay with us. And that is how it played out. So the day of the festival, they arrive here at about 10 a.m. And we all get some breakfast, even though we didn't really want to eat. Because for those of you who know what it's like to be in front of people, strangers, you get these anxiety, this sort of sense of like performance anxiety. And some people, that manifests in the form of like taking hot shits all day. Right? You like your bowels are just like in quadruple overdrive and you just got to poop relentlessly. It never stops. So we tried to have light, if no meals at all in the morning. I see the resemblance. Oh. Okay. So in the amount of time that we all arrived at here at my home, and then we took an Uber to the festival grounds. We were talking about the preparations that we wanted to make before we went on stage. Now, for those of you that don't know, when you play a show or a festival, specifically a festival, away from home, you can provide them a rider, which is a document, digital or paper, that says, hey, here's the things we need in order to do the best job possible. On ours, it was like vitamin water, room temperature, still water, some kind of snack, like, it could be fruit, it could be like nuts, things that are like not heavy and they're not like greasy or buttery or salty or anything like that. And we give them this rider ahead of time saying, here are our needs. And there's 3 riders. One of them is for what I just described, your hospitality. How do they make you as comfortable as possible? The second one is a technical rider, which is one where you're telling them how shit goes on the stage. Because remember, they have people who are responsible for expediting your setup and teardown when you're moving your equipment back and forth from the stage, so that there's not a whole lot of time in between each band. And then the third one is a gear rider, an equipment rider. So if you have to borrow equipment, the people who work the stage know where to put it. Okay, he needs these kind of drums in this configuration. Boom. Alex needs a bass head and a bass cabinet and maybe this kind of pedal. We need 3 microphones in the front of the stage, right? Like all these little details, they come out in these documents. And that helps them just do their job more effectively for you, the performer. So when we get there, we all agree to put our equipment in one particular room that was not a green room. A green room is a place where musicians prepare, isolated, before they go on stage. It gives them time to warm up, change their clothes, drink, eat, talk, make content, like whatever you got to do before the show, it's a little place for you to do that. But because we are not a headliner or a co-headliner, we didn't get that opportunity. I'm going to turn this light down a little bit. There we go. We didn't get that opportunity. We did not qualify for our own little personal room. So instead, we borrowed a different room that was on the other side of the festival grounds that was primarily used for housing equipment and also like vendor supplies. So on the festival grounds, there are multiple vendors, like third-party companies that sponsor the festival by paying a fee, which then can be distributed however the festival sees fit, to have a booth on the festival grounds where people can go check out their products. In this case, this year, it was like Jenny's Tent. It's a little a cake station where Annie makes her cakes. There's a kitchen, but these things are more related to the festival because the people who are working them are living here and they're part of the festival every year. The third-party vendors are like Overload guitars, Kemper amplifiers. There's one that's a really cool charity. I can't think of the name of it. If anybody knows the charity, please post it. I'd love to do a shout out for charity. But these companies, they pay to have a little tent on the festival grounds. So one of the companies, Overload guitars and basses, they come from Italy. They were housing all of their equipment there in that room. And it just so happened that before Alex and Mark and Sean came out here, Alex said to me, can you see if there are any sponsors that have bass guitars? And maybe we can ask them if I can borrow their bass guitar on stage for our 40-minute set. It's not a terribly long time, and he's a professional. He's not going to like mistreat it. He knows he'd be responsible for it, right? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I sent him an email. They replied and said, can you tell us who you are? We don't know your band. Let us check you out. And when I sent them all the social links, they came back and they said, yeah, you guys are cool. Like, come talk to us at the festival and we'll see if we can let you borrow a bass. Now, the key part there is that they didn't say yes or no. They said, we'll see if we can let you borrow a bass. So we were a little bit in limbo. We still had to ask Jan, our studio engineer, we still had to ask him if he could lend us a bass and a guitar. I needed the guitar as a backup. That's why we had to borrow some of his gear. We didn't wind up using the bass or the guitar, but we did need it on hand in case we broke a string or there was a technical failure or something. So before we go on stage, we're sitting in this little room with all of this vendor equipment and this merch, and Alex and I go up to the Overload Guitars booth, and we say to them, hey, I'm Nico, he's Alex. We emailed you a couple weeks back asking if there was an option to borrow a bass guitar for our performance. And the guy there, whose name I forget, I'm so sorry, he was super nice and super cool. And he liked motorcycles. We talked about motorcycles. That was fun. He said, yeah, which bass do you want? And he pointed to these like 4 different bass guitars that they brought. 2 of them were 4 strings, so those were off the list because we play 5-string bass. And 2 of them were 5 strings. One of them was straight normal scale, and another one was headless multi-scale 5-string. And of course, Alex, being the bougie guy that he is, he's like, oh yeah, I want the fancy looking one. Now, mind you, Alex has never spent long periods of time with a multi-scale bass guitar. So he had to learn 2 hours before we went on stage how to play our music on this instrument, which has fanned frets, which has a different scale length than he's used to. And although we were wildly grateful, he'll tell you himself that it was a challenge on stage playing certain riffs without having had a good amount of time to practice them on that new instrument. Okay, so 2 hours before we play, we get the bass guitar. We take it back to this little merch room that we had basically commandeered for the time being. The bass was beautiful, right? It had a stone top, not wood, stone. Crazy. Not crazy heavy though, because it was a thin veneer of stone, but still looked beautiful. You'll see the photos. We're getting there, I promise. I have live footage, I have live audio, I have pictures. It's gonna be nuts. You're gonna love it. Okay. So we're in this little room, and we don't have a way to hear ourselves. We don't have a way to plug in. Sean doesn't have a drum set. Drum doesn't have a Sean set. We don't have a drum set. We don't have anything. So if you go to Mark's profile, I think there's a video of us warming up in this room with just acoustic electric instruments. Sean has a little practice pad that he's just getting warmed up on, and you can hear his feet smacking the floor as he's doing his footwork. And Mark's just singing a cappella and filming himself. We played through the whole set in this room, and we looked at each other and we said, yeah, man, we're ready. Like, we're ready to go. Like, this is, like, why even bother? Like, to do any more is to put energy into not the performance, right? And so we wanted to save that for ourselves. So about an hour before we went on stage, Jan called us and he said, hey, we're going to move the gear from where you're currently at in this little room, and we're going to put it in this tent next to the side stage so that when that band unloads, we can start loading up. And we said, great. So we helped him move it. We're sitting in this tent with him. He's plugging stuff in because remember, he's got to start his job basically now, getting everything ready for the stage. And oh, hi, Chris. Sorry to interrupt myself. Chris, I'm telling the story of Euroblast. It's good to see you on here. This is Chris, who stayed with us for a few days and was a huge help at Euroblast this year. Him and his girlfriend, Jackie, they helped run the cake tent for Annie. They were selling cakes and promoting cakes. And obviously Chris has been there a few years now, 3 years, just as much as I have. And so every year we get to see each other. He lives in the United States and I live in Germany now. So that's the only time we get to see each other, when it's not over the internet. Hi, Chris. I hope you're feeling well, dude. How's your jet lag? How are you feeling? How's Jackie feeling? I know she was sick. Let me know what's going on. So Jan says, let's move all the gear to the tent. We get to the tent. He starts plugging everything in for what he needs to do. And the rest of us, we start changing our clothes. We start putting our ears together, running cables, how you got to do it. You can see here I have this under, but you don't want that during your performance. So you tuck it under your shirt and you put it under your guitar strap and you do all that kind of stuff. So we're getting ready and the band finishes. They're done. We hear the crowd roar inside, and then you see this herd of 2,000 people just come down the main drag of the festival, past the merch tent, past the tattoo tent, past the beer station, past the luthier's station, past your tent, and they walk all the way to the back where the kitchen is and the cakes and the jewelry and the overload tent and the Kemper tent, and they go to the second stage, and now it's our turn to load up the stage. So we start moving gear up there as swiftly as possible without getting in the way of the previous band, which, if I remember correctly, was Anima Tempo. Quick shout out to them. Those are some of our neighbors down in Mexico. Anima Tempo, super sick band. I think they have an upright bass player, and I wasn't able to watch them because we were getting ready, right? We were warming up, but I would love to see them live someday because it looks like they put on a hell of a show. So, that being said, as we were loading gear onto the stage, their singer noticed Mark, and Mark, and he kind of pulled him aside, and he's like, "Cardivox Academy," and Mark's like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" And we could tell that they were in this band, and they had like the equipment and stuff with them, and so he was like, "Oh, what's up, Anima Tempo?" And we kind of had this moment of camaraderie, which was super cool. And it seemed like one of the guys didn't speak English too well, but Mark knew enough Spanish that he was able to speak a little bit of Spanish to him and say, like, thank you so much for playing here and for your support with Cardivox Academy. And the guy was like, "Oh my God," like blown away that Mark knew enough Spanish to talk to him. So that was really nice. That was sweet. And we start loading up all the gear. We get it on stage. And at this point, I see Jan go into like overdrive. Like this dude, this 2 meter tall mammoth of a man who only says one word sentences is like hauling the heaviest gear by himself up across like a flight of 6 stairs onto the stage, rolling it across the stage, and he just starts plugging things in like a mad scientist. The back of this gear, I wish I had a photo of it. I don't think I do. But the back of this gear, it looks like something out of a movie from Frankenstein, right? There's like hundreds of cables plugged in the back of this giant box, and he has to know what every single one goes to and why. And then on top of that, he has to know where it goes to such a degree that it doesn't mess up all of the work we did in the studio days prior for our in-ear mixes that we spent the whole first day basically putting together so we could hear our click track, our bass guitar, our drums. We spent that time, and so if he puts the wrong cable in the wrong spot, you think you're turning up your bass guitar, but you're actually turning up Tom 4. And you don't know it until all of a sudden Sean hits Tom 4, and then you're like, duh, right? Because your ears are blown out now because you didn't anticipate that was the wrong signal. So he had to be a freaking wizard with this stuff. He had to memorize it all and make sure it was all good to go. Now, it's important to tell you the sort of pressure that comes with playing live, because when Anima Tempo finishes, there's only 40 minutes between the end of their set, the last second, and the beginning of yours, which seems like a lot of time. That's almost an hour. That's 3/4 of an hour. But in reality, they have to unload the stage, so you give them 5 minutes, and then you have to load the stage. Call that another 5 minutes. That's 10. And then we have to wait for the drum set to be built by the stagehands based on our technical writer that we said to them, hey, we need these drums, we need these cymbals, we need these kinds of microphones, all of that stuff down the line. They're doing their job too. We'll call that another 10 minutes because that's a lot of work. So you're already halfway through the 40 minutes you get. At that time, we are waiting on Jan to give us everything we need. He has all of our wireless packs for our instruments, and then he has wireless packs for our in-ear system. So he's preparing these, and he's going from one side of the stage to another side of the stage, and he's like, this is your pack, and he plugs it in, and he makes sure that the power is good. But he also is changing the batteries beforehand and making sure that all the batteries are good, right? And then when he gets it there, he has to change the frequency of the packs to make sure they don't interfere with each other. Because if my guitar is on the same wavelength as Mark's in-ear system, you get this really weird crackling sound and a loss of signal almost consistently. So he has to memorize, okay, the guitar's on frequency 532.654, and this microphone is on frequency 532.652. And he has to memorize all this stuff for 4 of us. Now, it's important to say that there's only 4 of us in Kardashev, but he comes from working with ayahuasca, and there are 7 of them. There are 7 of them. They have a drummer and a percussionist. The percussionist is also a singer. They have 3 guitar players, one of which is also a singer. They have a full-time singer, and they have a bass player. That's 9 jobs that he has to account for, not to mention the drums require individual microphones. And the guitars, one of the guitarists also needs a microphone, but so does the bass player. So like he has so much more to worry about when he sets up ayahuasca that for us, we were like, oh, we're going to be a breeze. Like he's going to be like, bop, 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 bop. Here's your thing. See you guys later. I'm out. And then we were going to have like maybe 5 minutes before we went on stage. But don't you know, that's never how it goes. There's always something. As we're setting up, he's giving us our packs. And in doing this, in my mind, I've convinced myself that I can just leave it up to Jan. I don't really have to get involved very much, except for when they say, all right, play the guitar, we need signal, and then I just play chugs, right? Just something easy. But instead, I forgot that I'm in charge of my amplifier and my in-ears and my wireless pack and also tuning my guitar and then tuning the backup guitar, but then also putting the strap on the backup guitar so I don't have to try to fiddle with that mid-song if I break a string on my primary. But then also making the packs accessible enough on my strap that if I have to take my guitar off, they don't tangle me up. And all of a sudden it becomes a new set of logistics that we hadn't really planned for in the 2 days we had to practice. So now I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm stressing a little bit. I'm a little bit stressed. And then I look over at Jan, and he's having trouble getting the signals to the right path. He's starting to experience his own stress in trying to remember whose frequencies was on which device, and then how to relay that information to the front of house engineer, Ramon, so that Ramon can do his part of the job too, because it's not like we're all doing it at once. We have to wait for the person upstream, we'll call it. We have to wait for them to finish their job so that then I can do my job, so that Ramon can do his job, and then move on to the next person and kind of follow the same sequence of events. Also, Ludo, what's up, baby? Just hopping by to wish me a happy birthday. Hey, thanks so much. Yeah, I forgot to mention, today's my birthday. I turned 35. Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate the love. So, Jan is starting to stress a little bit in getting everything sorted for us, and we see the room start to fill up with showgoers. Before it was like 10, 15 people just kind of standing by the railing in absolute excitement to see Kardashev perform for the first time in over almost a decade, right? Especially in Europe. First time in Europe. Brexit. Don't worry about it. Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate that. So the room starts to fill up, and I can see Jan's a little stressed. And Sean keeps saying to me, I can't hear anything. And I say, I know. And remember, like I said, I might not have to manage the gear this time, but I get to manage the people. So he says to me, I can't hear anything. He's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I'm like, hey, calm down. Jan is doing his part, and I'll let you know when you're ready to check your signals. And he's like, okay. So Sean reels it in. Alex says to me, I can't hear myself. And I'm like, I know. Jan's figuring it out. Give us time. Mark says to, and this is not at the same time, it's just like throughout the whole getting ready on stage, the 40-minute window that you have. Mark says to me, he's like, can you hear my microphone? He's like, I can't hear my microphone. I'm like, all right, calm down. Like, we all know how this kind of goes. We're nowhere near testing our signals yet. So at a certain point, we hear from the, basically the monitors. Those are the big speakers on stage that face the band. We hear over that, we hear Ramon come on, and he says, hey, press spacebar on the laptop. I need to see if I can hear the laptop. And so I'm like, okay, you got it. So I press spacebar. Now, there's a moment of fear that sets in when you do this, because if Jan has plugged something in the wrong spot, or I have failed to do something on my part, there's a chance that the crowd hears the metronome, the crowd hears my stupid voice say, okay, everybody get on stage, plug in your instruments and tune your guitars, and whatever stupid audio that I pre-recorded for us to hear only. There's a worry that that comes through and you sort of look less professional. So he says, hey, let me hear the laptop. And we're like, all right, you got it. So I go over to the laptop, I press spacebar. And all the while, people are funneling in. They're coming in. This room is starting to get, a little bit more full. And all the lights are on so they can see us doing our jobs. Now, if you've ever been to a big show, you know that there's usually other people who do the musicians' jobs. Those are roadies. Their job is to get everything set up and checked before the performers, the artists, come on stage. We're not at that level. We're nowhere near that level. That's usually reserved for like big time bands who have been doing it for years and years and years, and they have the budget to hire those people. right? So Jan's working on the signals and getting all of our packs to work correctly. The front of house engineer, Ramon, is asking me he's like, play your guitar. And I'm like, playing my guitar. And he's like, I got nothing up here. I don't know what the deal is. And I'm like, I don't know. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is Jan's job, not my job. I got to play. And then he should figure out where it all goes. But then it dawned on me, while he was waiting for my guitar to make noise, I didn't set up my Kemper yet. Like, I plugged it in, but I didn't do anything with it. I just plugged it in and kind of walked away because I had so much else on my mind. Hey, Leviathan, what's up, baby? How you doing? We got a Lord of the Covers over here, dude. A guy who learned the tabs live on stream. Super sick. Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. So I go over to my Kemper and and the volume is at 0. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So I turn the volume up to noon, which is what we all had agreed on beforehand. And I start playing, and I give Ramon the thumbs up, like, okay, like, it should be good now. And next thing I know, I can hear my guitar just going like chug, 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 chug throughout the speaker system in this huge venue. And that's when it started to set in that this was real. Like, oh my God, it's real. They're not seeing the people, not being on the stage, not moving the equipment, but hearing the guitar reverb come back from how big this room is. That's when I was like, okay. And I started to feel my fingers go a little cold. And I started to kind of want to like twist my neck and loosen all of my joints because I could feel myself like getting tighter across my body. And Ramon says, okay, guitar sounds good, bass. And then Alex's turn, he starts hitting the bass. And then, I don't know what order it was, but then he's like, all right, drums, snare, kick, toms, overheads, play the whole kit. And all the while, we can't hear ourselves because Jan is still figuring out all the signals and the wireless systems. And at this point, we hear Ramon say, oh, and then, of course, vocal check, which you can see online. There's really cool footage of Mark just screaming like as a vocal check. It's really crazy. Nips get tingly? No, nipples didn't get tingly, thankfully. Not for me. Probably for Sean. He's a weirdo like that. You know what I mean? So we do the full sound check, and then we hear Ramon talking to us from the stage monitors. He says, we're 2 minutes over your start time. You need to start. And we're all like, but we can't hear anything. And I think it was at that moment that Jan came over to me and he's like, all right, here's your pack. Boop, pushes a button and I can hear everything. Goes over to Mark, gives him a pack, pushes a button, plugs him in. Goes over to Sean. Sean gives me the big thumbs up like he got his sorted out. Alex looks over at me and he's like, I can hear everything perfectly. And I'm like, sick. Now I'm going to interrupt this moment of possible like relief that everything is ready to go and tell you that our cell phones link up to the system that controls our in-ears through Wi-Fi. There's a mixing station that sits in a rack, and it creates a Wi-Fi signal so you can link your phone to it and use an app to control your mix. That's the whole job of this mixer, is basically to give you that opportunity. And that's how we practiced. But the practice gear was Jan's mixer. But the performance gear was Ayahuasca's mixer. So as we're all getting, as we hear Ramon say, you're 2 minutes over, it's time to start. And I see all these thumbs up around the stage from everyone as they say like, yeah, I can hear myself and my in-ears come online and everything is good now. And we've already done all these checks. I realize I haven't connected to the mixer on my phone. I haven't done it. Alex hasn't done it. We forgot to connect to the one thing that was going to give us our in-ear signal so we could hear each other. But it just so happened that with the preparation that Jan put in place, we didn't have to connect because we built our in-ear mixes in his studio and he saved it to the mixer. So all he had to do was make sure that Nico's mix was on the right signal and that Alex's mix was on the right signal, and this is what he was doing with the packs. He was setting up their frequencies so he knew which person gets which mix. And as a result, I had no control over what I was hearing in my ears the day I was on the stage. But because we were able to do it in his studio, I didn't need to. I could hear the clicks perfectly. I could hear Sean perfectly. I couldn't hear Alex at all, but it's bass. What are you going to do? And I couldn't hear the crowd. Or at least I didn't think so. Because he had told us, I'm also going to put a microphone facing the crowd. That way you guys can hear them when you want to interact with them. You know, you throw up the horns and they all go, ah. He's like, you'll be able to hear that, and it makes it feel more real to you. Otherwise, you have to take the earphone out, and then that gets a little clunky. Who's going to do that, right? So Ramon says, you're 2 minutes over. You need to start now. Everybody gives me the thumbs up. I realize that I don't have control over my mix, and I just say, fuck it, who cares? And I put my phone on my guitar bag, and the lights go out. And I press spacebar on the laptop, and you can hear the rumble come through, and we can feel it under our feet of the stage vibrating from all the subwoofers pushing this ambient sound into the audience. And as the lights go out and we hear this sound kick in, we hear the crowd roaring, saying like, yeah, it's finally happening, you know, like an excitement. And it wasn't until today, actually, I was talking to Jan, and I was listening to the live recording of the entire set, that I said to him, wow, the microphone for the crowd, it sounds a little quiet. I thought it would be louder. And he says, oh, I was so stressed I forgot to set up that microphone. The crowd you're hearing is being captured by the drum microphones. And I was like, okay, then it's actually way louder than I thought it was going to be, because drum microphones don't have to be very loud. The drums are already loud. So I was like, oh shit, that sounds amazing then, right? So the lights go out. The beginning of the set is this rumbling sort of atmosphere, and then Sean's voice narrating the beginning of Liminal Right. No, I'm sorry, not the beginning. The middle narration on Liminal Right before we go into Compost Grave Song. And I'm going to level with you guys. Most of that 40 minutes is a blur, so I can't really recall you minute by minute, second by second for the performance. But I can tell you some highlights that I do remember. The first highlight was when the crowd was dark and we were bright. I remember feeling, in a way, safe. My inability to see the crowd's faces and their reactions, in a way, almost made it feel like they weren't there. Like I was just, like, kind of here, right? Like I see a number of people who are watching my stream right now, but I can't see your faces, I can't see your expressions, your reactions. So I'm just, in a way, I have to imagine that everybody who's watching is like listening and watching me, so I don't like pick my nose or look stupid or something like that. And the same thing kind of was there when we were on stage. I couldn't see individual faces, I just saw a sort of crowd of people. The second thing that I remember is I forgot to take my hair out from my bun in all of the excitement of preparation. So for the first two songs, my hair's still up in a bun and it feels really stupid on the back of my head. For those of you with long hair, try this. Put your hair in a bun and then headbang, like headbang with some aggression, right? And then feel how your bun feels when you just move your head around a little bit. It feels like somebody put like one of those, you know, those balls on a paddle and you go like this and it goes like boing, 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 boing. It felt like I had that on the back of my head. I was like, oh God, this feels so stupid. Why does it keep smacking me? So it wasn't until the third song, which was, I think it was Snow Sleep. It wasn't until Snow Sleep that I let my hair down. And that unlocked another sort of, if you want to think about it in like computer terms, in like technology terms, that unlocked a new line of RAM requirement, because now I had this obligation to use my hair as the visual sort of supplement that it's grown for. I had to headbang, I had to swing it around and make myself look like busy visually, right? Leviathan says, I'm bald and I still let my hair down for Snow Sleep. Nice, dude. Them pubes might not, the hair's bald, but the pubes ain't. Been growing those since you were like 14, right? They're probably down to your knee by now. Just swinging hair under your shorts. Anyways, so I felt the hair in the bun on the back of my head, and after we finished the second song, which was Beyond Sun and Moon, I finally took it out. I think it was the second song. It might have been the first. Like I said, big blur, no memory whatsoever. And there were a couple of parts that I messed up in Snow Sleep that I can remember, like, oh, I played that wrong. And I had to look over at Alex. And Alex, being as good friends with me as he is, he looked over at me and he kind of did the sort of like, you should be ashamed, sort of judgmental face. And I just kind of was like, I don't know. And I just kind of shrugged it off. And then I picked up where I left off, and it was okay, right? 99% of people, listeners, are never going to hear or know that I messed that up, but he and I know because we know the music so intimately. So those are the first two things. The third thing, by the fifth of 6 total songs that we performed, my hair was so wet with sweat that when it was down in front of my face like this, it was so long. Remember, I don't practice like this performance. And as a matter of fact, the second day of our practice, where we were supposed to like pretend like it's the performance, I still didn't let my hair down. That wasn't a thought that occurred to me. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna headbang. I'm gonna pretend like I'm dancing on stage to be like visually interesting, and I'm gonna play as best I can. That was what kind of accounted to me for practicing how you perform. So I let my hair down, and it gets sweaty. And by the 5th song, which I think was Compost Grave Song. I think it's Compost Grave. No, Glass Phantoms. By the time we played Glass Phantoms, I was headbanging with my hair in front of me, but my hair was so long it was touching the fretboard and getting in the way of my fingers. Of course I didn't account for that. Who thinks that would even be a part of the problem, right? So as I'm playing stuff, like especially up on the high part, like with my leads, I'm like avoiding my hair. So I have to keep doing this like flick thing to get my hair off of the fretboard. And I was just like, wow, what a surprising turn of events that I didn't account for this, because it's so far out of the scope of things I had to account for. So that was really funny. And then probably the last thing that I can remember from the performance was the sense of like dizziness, the disorientation of the lights kind of like rapidly moving in ways that your eyes have to adapt to, like you're at a normal show, but while focusing on your hand and your fretboard. This is a level of disorienting that I'm just not familiar with. I used to do this thing on stream. I don't know if you guys remember. There used to be a channel points redemption, a Cartacoin redemption it was called No Looking, and it was basically, if you redeemed that, I would play the next song with my eyes closed. That's pretty doable in a controlled environment like my studio. But on stage, fatigued, sweaty, hair touching the fretboard, lights turn off for half a second, and you have to jump from the 5th fret to the 14th fret or something, like a big movement in your hands. That doesn't help you for that. It just doesn't. So little things like that made me feel disoriented, or at one point I was a little bit dizzy. But by about the 3rd song, I had this freedom. I adopted this sense of freedom that made me feel like, who cares if you mess up? Just have fun. Like, who cares, right? Once I adopted that perspective, I had a better time overall, and I wasn't worried. I was just grateful that people were still in the room, that they were still willing to hear us out, even if we messed up. And that's also compounded with the idea that I'm not the only person on stage. When I stream with you guys and I play through a song and I mess up, it's pretty obvious because I'm the only thing you're looking at. And I'm oftentimes the loudest thing you're hearing. Thanks, Ludo. Ludo just chimes in, I'm also bald. Thank you, Ludo. Very useful information. Appreciate that, dude. So yeah, the performance went super well. And then when we were done, the crowd was chanting, Kardashev. Kardashev. That feels incredible. Incredible. We unloaded, we finished the set. Mark said, thank you all so very much. We did a photo with the crowd. Hopefully it turns out it wasn't actually planned beforehand. The people who were videoing our full set ran up to Mark and they said, "Do you want a photo with the crowd?" And then Mark said into the microphone, "Hey, I think we're going to do a photo with the crowd." And we're like halfway through taking all of our gear off and the people are leaving the auditorium and stuff. So it was kind of a little haphazard, but hopefully it looks good, right? So yeah, we unloaded everything. We thanked Jan immensely for getting us to an absolutely functional performance. Short little micro moments of frustration or starting the whole thing 2 minutes late aside, which we accounted for, by the way. Our set is only 38 minutes long, and our performance, because it's pre-programmed in the computer, is 38 minutes of audio with the rumbly sounds in between the songs and everything. And our allotted slot was 40 minutes. So it's coincidental that we were 2 minutes over when we started, but it was actually perfect. So that was totally cool. Jenny says, "Yes, you melted the vinegar factory and we are all crybabies." Yeah, and the hardcore fans, those who are closest to us, like Jenny and Annie and Chris, and probably and Eula and a handful of other people, Caesar, they did tell us like, "Hey, I either got teary-eyed or I just full-on ugly cried during certain moments." And I think in a way it's because they finally had the sort of, and I'm not going to try to speak for them, but if I'm speculating, I think they had a sort of closure in hoping it went well. Hoping that, knowing that we don't play often and that we were literally coming from completely different continents without ever really meeting each other in person, that we were going to pull it off and not have egg on our faces by the end of it, right? And I think that a sense of relief, but also a sense of pride that they were in their own way part of making that all happen. They got to sort of feel the expressive relief from their emotions, but also they might find the music beautiful, and then that's another reason for them to feel so emotional. So a lot of people liked it. Jenny, as she said here, we melted the place. We got feedback from 2 people, came from the record label. One of them was Bart, and the other one is Yannick. Bart is the Metal Blade Europe manager. He's just responsible for everything that happens through Metal Blade in Europe. And the other guy, Yannick, he's the head of merchandising in Europe for Metal Blade. So both of them were there to witness our performance, which is a weird way of saying they asked if we could put them on the guest list because they wanted to see us play live. That was basically it. It's not like they were auditing us or anything, making sure we're like, "Oh, this band's representing Metal Blade at the festival. We got to make sure." Like, no, nothing like that. Matter of fact, afterwards, the next day, Saturday, the last day of the festival, we met both of them. Or no, I met Yannick on the same day we performed, and I met Bart the second day after that. They both said that we did a good job. They mentioned that there was some like technical stuff that they would have called out if they were part of our performance package of engineers and stuff. But they said other than that, they had no idea we didn't play for 8 years together. So that was really, really cool. Chris says, "Part of the emotions was just physically being with the music, with you guys and with other fans and people enjoying and hearing it for the first time." That's a good perspective. I didn't realize that. I remember Jenny saying to me, "Hey, you did such a great job. Like, I love you," and like giving me a big kiss. And she said it was so good. You did such a great job. And she was so supportive. And I remember either saying to her or thinking this sense of jealousy that she got to hear it. And I've been working on it for 10 years and I still haven't heard it like she gets to hear it, right? And I never will, because that's just the nature of being an artist. You don't get to be the fan in the crowd listening to the whole thing. I mean, I'm sure you've seen videos of like Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin seeing bands like Metallica or whoever the band might be playing his music, and he's sitting in the crowd taking it in, and he's just overcome with emotions of what it must be like to be on that side of the performance. And although I wasn't thinking any of this when she said that, I remember thinking to myself like, man, I'm kind of jealous that you got to hear it because I feel like I didn't, especially with no control over my mix and not being able to hear the bass and, you know, just the whole thing. So it's just different. Kyle says, seeing you guys live is way up there on the bucket list. I hope to experience that one day. Yeah, Kyle, me too. I talked with the guys after the festival and I said, so do you want to do this again? And all three of them said, absolutely. Do they want to do it next month? No. Do they want to do it in the next 3 months? No. But they said absolutely. That was their unanimous reply. So I think we're going to try to see if there's a chance that we can get on some other festivals in North America or in England, or it'd be really cool to play Japan. Mostly because I've never been to Japan, so that would just be fucking sick. But yeah, all of that is to say I think we're all on board to try and make it happen. But we're going to have new terms moving forward. Some of the biggest challenges that we either never solved or we could not see ourselves not resolving before our next performance is getting paid properly. And this isn't a slight to Euroblast. This is just me realizing that I need to draw some better boundaries before I sign contracts. And one of those is making sure that we're not paying out of pocket to do it ever again. Like, that just can't be a part of the equation. It's not really fair, and it adds undue stress, unnecessary stress on us. The second thing would be ensuring that we have somebody at least as competent as Jan or Ramon on our team with us, because they made it so much infinitely easier and they made it so much better. I will never play a show without one of those engineer type individuals on my team. I refuse to endure that kind of stress on top of whatever I was already processing. That's has to be part of the equation. And I'd like it to be somebody I know. Like, if we were going to play in England, I'd like to have Jan come and like do our in-ears again. Or, you know what I mean? Like, just that kind of security has to be part of the equation. And then the last thing would be, there's no way that me, Mark, or Sean, and maybe eventually Alex, but he's a full-time touring musician, there's no way the three of us can do this more than once or twice a year. It's too big of an impact on our families, because it's a time. Also, Mark and Sean have children, who they then leave with their wife for an extended period of time, and they have to kind of be a single parent for a little while, which, you know, they agree to, but still have to kind of make sure that part is considered for, because they love their spouse and their family. And so we don't want to all of a sudden commit to a tour schedule of like 6 months out of the year, and now that family's like gotta sort of endure that. Now, if they choose to, if they say, hey, go do it, I support you 100%, it's gonna be hard, but, you know, go do it for your dream, that's a different conversation that I don't feel needs to be pressured. But as far as their availability, once or twice a year max is what we're currently facing. So maybe we'll get to do it, I'm not sure. But those are kind of the terms. Getting fully paid, having an engineer on our side doing it, and only once or twice a year at the maximum. That's kind of where we're at. Chris says, the music already is so moving, but with the whole stimulus of audio, visual, and community, it was super special. Yeah, I understand that entirely. Everybody being together in the same spot for the same cause and just kind of being in that energy together is definitely unique, definitely different. It's probably the fan equivalent of us, of the band being in the practice studio the first day and like feeling it come together and being like, whoa, this is real. It's probably the same, right? Just in its own way. Ludo says, hire a cover band. We talked about this, actually, specifically with the Metal Blade manager, Bart. He said, you know, if your guys are so spread out and they can't make the commitments, that doesn't mean the band still can't play. You can hire certain people to do jobs. And he said, you know, the caveat is Mark is the front of the band and his voice is his voice. So to see a fill-in singer is going to like draw less people emotionally. It's going to draw them in a little bit less, but that doesn't mean they don't want to see the music live and kind of have that community experience that Chris was mentioning earlier. So there's a chance for that as well. Leviathan, I volunteer for Tribute as the cover band. Okay, tight, dude. If we ever need a second guitar player, I'll hit you up. And then Caesar says, I actually showed Chris my bucket list of live bands at some point, and the greatest thing was that I was able to check 2 bands in the same weekend, Kardashev and Caligula's Horse. That's incredible. I thank you so much for sharing that with me. It's bucket list is kind of a high-tiered thing, I think. Some people might find it vapid, but the fact that you have it written down as like a sort of wish list, it puts the energy into the universe in a different way. So maybe you're responsible for us playing in some way, more so than you thought, because the list exists. It's like a rule 40, what is it, 43 or 34, whatever it is. It's like that rule, but in a hopeful and like wholesome way, not like a perverted and pornographic way. That's really cool. Ludo says, it's been nice meeting some of you as well. The cover band was there to make sure you experience your own music as a listener. The cover band was there to make sure you experience your own music as a listener. The cover band was there. Oh, I see. The cover band from previous conversation is so that I can hear the music. I see. Okay, that makes total sense. Yes, that's incredible. I mean, fun to think about. Never gonna happen, but still fun to think about. I mean, I see covers all the time on YouTube of Kardashev songs, and I always watch the whole thing, and I'm like, oh my god, somebody learn this music, oh! And then I like freak out and leave them a comment and share it and stuff. It's amazing. And let's talk about meeting people. Yeah, so I'll talk about this one aspect really quick, and then we'll move on to some of the footage and some of the pictures and videos, and maybe I'll give you a teaser of the practice footage a little bit. But before that, I'm gonna have a drink of some syrupy water. I can feel my mouth drying out. I also feel like my nose is a little stuffy, but I had an itchy throat for the past day. I was worried that I was getting sick, but I think it's something else entirely, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so after the show, we agreed on the Discord to anybody who was in the Discord and privy to our plans. We said, hey, we will meet you by Jenny's jewelry tent, and we'll talk with you guys for a bit. We'll spend some time with our Discord community of people who were able to actually make it to the festival. And if I'm being honest, with the amount of adrenaline and also kind of simultaneous brain fog that came with performing that day, I don't remember everyone's names or faces, but I will tell you that everybody I met was kind and considerate and enthusiastic to meeting us. And I think part of the reason was because we have this Discord community, which is an excellent, by the way, an excellent parallel to the band all meeting at the practice space for the first time and realizing and solidifying that we could all do our own individual jobs in a room together to make this thing that's called live music. I think the Discord community meeting us is an equivalent of that, because that means that all these people who met on Discord from around the world, literally, are now all in the same place for one reason, like Chris was saying earlier, with the community in the same spot and the energy. And they had this one thing that bound them together across the earth that they all prioritized so that they could feel this moment, which is exactly what Kardashev did. That's exactly what we were doing. We prioritized practicing and then affording in our own ways to get to the festival, to play, and to practice beforehand and make sure it was a worthwhile performance. In the same way that the community members prioritized it and saved money and coordinated with their families and their works to make time to take a big flight, probably for most of them, to come all the way out to Euroblast and enjoy that live performance. So we met with everyone from the Discord who was able to be there. And we found out that there were people who flew from America, people who flew from Canada. 3 guys took a train from England. There's people from Spain and Portugal. There was a person from... there were like 3 or 4 people from Germany, different parts of Germany. There was a dude from Switzerland. There was a person from... what's it called? Why can't I think of it? Poland. There was a person from Poland. They came from different countries. And granted, they're there for the festival, but like they told me, we're here for you. And Mark had about 10 students who might not even be a part of our Discord community as Kardashev. They're just students of Cardivox Academy, or they're fans of the YouTube channel. They also came from different countries. We had 2 or 3 people come from the Netherlands. We had 2 people come from Sweden, 1 guy from Finland, another dude from Denmark. Trying to think if there's anybody that I'm really leaving out. It's completely unintentional. Again, these are just faces and countries that I'm remembering off the top of my head. But like, so many people just really prioritize this. It was kind of like, what's the word? Overwhelming. Especially because in some regard, like I'm an emotional like person. I like to hug people. I'm a hugger. And when they told me like, oh yeah, I came from this place just to see you guys, and I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm taking a train 14 hours back tomorrow. I'm so overwhelmed with like gratitude and also imposter syndrome. Like, hey man, I know I'm not worth that, right? That sort of feeling. That it was pretty overwhelming. Yeah, a lot of it was. I'm so incredibly grateful, and I tried to sort of show my gratitude in that moment as if I still owed them, which a lot of people, if not every person, has told me that I'm completely in the wrong for. It's not like they're doing it so that I owe them something, but that's something I have to deal with. But it made me feel like it was appropriate to give them something as thanks. And I preempted this. I know myself well enough to know that I wanted to give some kind of gift to them. And so for those people who were a part of that small little Discord network that were able to come in there and meet us afterwards, sorry if you weren't a part of it, but you were at the festival. I do apologize. I only had so much to give out. I did give them each a copy of Liminal Right on CD. And then each of the boys signed it for them right there in real life. You know, it's not even like a big press event. It was just me saying like, hey, I'd like to thank you all one more time and give this to you. It's from my personal collection. I'm not selling it to you. I'm not making money. I'm giving this away to you. And all 4 of us are here in the same spot, which is incredibly rare for our band. So if you want it signed, or if you want a little like doodle, now's the time. And I called all the boys over, and we made this circle of fans and band, and we just passed them to the left, and we signed and passed and signed and passed, and everybody got to have cool little conversations with the band members and stuff, and it was really nice. It was really cool. Z Vinitau, hello, said, I saw you guys at the sausage/cake tent afterwards, but it's not my personality to talk to you in person. But I did attend Euroblast specifically to see you play. Only had to drive about 200 kilometers. What? It's totally fine if you didn't have the willpower or the energy to come say hi to us. But just know in the future that if we ever have this opportunity again, we would love if you did. And I'll even take a selfie with you. I took a selfie with fans. Like, I wasn't even like being weird about it. I was like, can I take a picture with you? And they were like, sure. And I was like, sick. And then I took a photo because it's my first time getting to do a lot of this too, you know? So I get to be excited just from a different perspective. That's really cool, man. I super duper appreciate that. I appreciate that you're supporting the stream. I appreciate that you had the courage to talk about it here on stream. That's so kind of you. Thank you for being there. Thank you for supporting us and traveling to participate with us. I hope you liked it. I really do. Ludo says, 1 Norwegian, 3 Germans, 2 with a spouse, a Finn, and an idiot in a group that I was with. There you go, dude. Just tons of people from all over the place. You're worth it, baby. It was great. Thanks, Taniel. I appreciate that, man. Hopefully we get to do it again on on a different continent next time, so that a whole different group of people have the opportunity to jump in and take a selfie with us, or just talk to Mark and listen to one of his crazy stories, or ask Sean about Holy Fawn, or talk to me about Discord and the stream and video games that I like, or whatever it is. I think one thing that's really critical in my life that some other people maybe haven't adopted yet is that we exist so much consuming media across all the different mediums that we forget that most people are just people. I'm going to skip this song. I'm sorry. I don't want to get a copyright strike. Most people are just people. I am just a person. You are just a person. And I'm not diminishing your quality. I'm trying to put everybody on the same playing field so you don't feel as apprehensive about approaching one another. Right? I kind of think about it, and I think when I'm nervous about like maybe talking to someone or something like that, I say things that sound like this, and you're gonna laugh and think it's, you know, childish and stupid. But I think to myself, you know, they sweat too. They also poop. They also don't like certain kinds of food. They also have to wear glasses probably to see certain things. They also feel pain, and they know how to, and they, you know, have stubbed their toe, or they've undergone a stressful moment in their life as well. This really didn't become as physical to me until we started working on the Bearing of Shadows, and Mark and I were talking about what it meant to empathize with other people on like a human level versus like a cultural, sociological, financial, political, I'll use the word controllable level, right? You can change your status if you have more money, or you live in a certain neighborhood, or you're in a particular country with a certain skin color, or like whatever it is. Some of those things can be controlled. But at the end of the day, they still have the same basic needs that you do. Comfort, love, food, rest. They have all those things. And once I humanize the person that I'm stressing about, I just don't worry about what their reaction's going to be. So to Z Vinitau, if I'm saying that right, I'm probably not. Hopefully this helps you in the future. Just be totally cool with coming up and being like, hey, you guys did a good job, or you guys suck, or whatever your opinion is. And then me being like, cool, man, what's your name? That's all. I mean, that's what kind of gave me the motivation to sort of be personable and talk to strangers, especially if they're wearing a Kardashev shirt. For those of you that don't know, if you wear a Kardashev shirt and I'm anywhere near your zip code, I will find you. And I will point at your shirt and be like, hey, I know that band. That happens. It's a real thing. So be ready. Okay, what do you guys say we switch over to some cool photos and live footage and stuff like that? Let's check it out. I've got some stuff. By the way, for those of you that were there, if you have video footage or cool pictures that you want to share with us and you don't want it to get lost in the sea and temporariness of social media, please do feel free to email them to info@kardashevband.com, or you can post them in the Discord, or you can DM them to me on Discord, whatever. I am asking for like the high-res stuff, so hopefully it's not like a screenshot of your Instagram, account. Hopefully it's like the full quality picture. And I might ask your permission to publish it at some point, so just be ready for that. All right, let's go pull up this person's, let's go here. And we're gonna do, so this person's name is Jakey, or Jackie. I don't know how to pronounce it, but we'll go through some of their stuff. Did you get Vodum's Wii transfers? No. Where are those? I would love to know where they are. Also, let me switch over here. And is this the right one? I don't know. We're going to find out together. Yeah, this is the one. All right, sick. No, I did not get Vodum's. Sorry about that. Vodum, if you are here, please do DM it to me. And if you're not here, I'll find it. Poke me on Discord. Thank you, Ludo. Appreciate you, man. It was a pleasure meeting you as well. It was super cool to meet you and Vodum. For those of you that don't know, Ludo and Vodum are part of Cardivox Academy's sort of administrative team. It's me, Vodum, and Ludo. The three of us support Mark and Cardivox Academy in our own ways. I do sort of the email, administrative scheduling, along with like analytical analysis. And Ludo and Vodum are kind of editors and social media helpers. So they're super valuable to Mark. So thank you again for being there and for helping Mark and for letting us meet you. And we're now friends on Pokemon Go. Yeah, we are, dude. We got to send each other more gifts. Okay, so here you go. Some cool photos. So here's one. I promise, again, I'm saying this to everybody I show these to. I promise I'm not this cool in real life. It's the lights and the fact that I was sweaty with long hair. So we got this cool shot with the pink and my silhouette. The guitar just doesn't look like a real guitar. I don't know. It looks crazy. It's so sci-fi. Let's check out the next one. Do I have to go this way? Oh, I guess I have to go this way. Nope. That's the permission to use the photos. Here we go, dude. Sean the Machine Lang. So many people referred to him as the Machine after his performance because he's just such a monster. Ludo says, and the fact that you wore yoga pants made you a literal guitar wizard. So, fun factoid, those are my wife's pants. And she normally wears them around the house or to work or even to the Renaissance Festival. But when I wore a pair of those exact pants that were green to the Renaissance Festival out here like 2-3 weekends ago, I said, these are really comfy. They might look cool on stage. And she's like, you have to wear them on stage. And I was like, well, they're not in black. And she's like, I have a black pair. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. So I wore them because she and I talked about it. So it was super cool. And also, actually, my whole outfit was by my wife. My wife is dressing me now. Oh, God, I'm in a midlife crisis. She bought me a T-shirt off of, like, Temu or Shein or something like that. And it kind of fucks. It has a hood. And it's a little bit thicker, and it's made of like polyester or something that doesn't. It's easy. It's like it's breathable. It's really breathable. Yeah, and it just looks foreign. It looks not foreign like it comes from a different country, but foreign as if like I come from a different time. Time, the valuator. So I wore both of those things on stage, and I think I looked really cool. So I'll probably do it again in the future because it was super fun. It looks like a sword. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Jada. So there's Sean, the Machine, right? First part of Kardashev wrote he's fashion advisor of the guitarist. Absolutely, dude. That's my wife's official title. I will pay her under that. All right, then there's black and white one. Super cool, super moody. There's Alex with that sick as hell bass, dude. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. I mean, it's really hard to see right now. You'll see way better photos of it here coming up, but he's a sweaty man. By the way, huge shout out to Alex. He has never used in-ears before. In his other band, Holy Fawn, they just use the monitor mix that comes out of like the speakers on the stage that face the musicians. He's never used in-ears. And so after using them this one time with us, he was like, oh my God, I have to do this for Holy Fawn. Holy shit. And so he's trying to convince them probably every day moving forward. Like, guys, we have to do this. It's just it changes the game completely. Here we go. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Mark Patrick Garrett, with his in-ear system and his previously pierced ear. You can see there. Look at that guy. Look at him, dude. There's the wireless mic we got to use from Jan. A super cool microphone stand that has like a quick release lever. So you don't have to like do the whole like unlocking, slide up and down, lock it again. You just pull the lever and go up and down. It's really nice. There he is. There he is again, dude. Oh, also he bought that shirt before like 2 days before he got on the flight. He had it like next day delivered to him, and it was really stretchy and super comfortable, and he looked really good in it. Yeah, that was a really nice shirt. He did a good job. Down here, you have Alex in the background just kind of feeling it. Super sick. I'm kind of wondering if at certain points I'll be able to watch live footage and then know when these photos were taken at which songs, you know, at which part. Caesar says, I saw one picture of Alex where he's just laughing his ass off while playing, 100% enjoying the gig. That was probably after he and I did one of those like eye contact things where we knew one of us fucked up and we were just like, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to know. It was probably something like that. That's when we had our, that's when at least we exchanged our sort of laughter together. We couldn't hear each other, but you can see it on their face like, oh, you know, it's the cringe face in a way. Ludo says, I've never seen Mark that animated. He's usually quite laid back. You gotta watch some of his reactions, dude. Look at this guy. Look at this guy, bro. Look how good this looks. Oh my god. The blue lights, the full crowd. Mark looking like a fucking necromancer, like summoning the undead. Look at this guy. I mean, Sean's forehead is in there. Fuck Sean, whatever, doesn't matter, right? Alex with that sick bass. Dude, Overload Guitars. Massive shout out to Overload. I'll pull up their website. We can check out the bass that he used on there if you guys want. I'm just a bunch of pixels. That's me. There I am using my headless. And that was kind of the main thing too, is Alex said, hey, I think I don't want the multi-scale headless bass because he's never had a headless and he's never had a multi-scale. But then he said, considering that my guitar is headless, it would just look more cohesive if we had both headless instruments. So that was kind of like the main driving force behind why he was able to tolerate the multi-scale system. The machine. We gotta make a new Sean meme that just says the machine. Ludo says your part in the photo would make great avatar for social media. Oh, dude, don't worry. I've got plenty of insane photos. For those of you that haven't seen my profile on Discord, go look at my picture on Discord. It's one of the best photos I will ever take, and I didn't even take it. You know, I'm the subject of the photo, but still, like, there's no way I'm reproducing that photo. There he is again in his super animated self. You can see Alex a little bit better. You can see my hands a little bit better. Super cool. Sean's gone again. Forehead Sean. Maybe we'll just crop Sean's forehead and make that into an emoji. I think that would be cool. Bass looks sick. The lighting is super cool. Look at this guy, man. Look at him just looking like that. That's the other thing too. You guys have to remember is that when you're in all of the stress thinking about what you're gonna do with the performance, you forget that you're going to be photographed and filmed. Like, you don't forget it, you just don't think about it as often as all of the stressors. So a lot of this feels really candid. Like, I look at these and I'm like, oh man, they got that moment on camera, because I forget that there's 10 photographers and, you know, 4 video crew members and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can actually see the finger position on this one. Based on the way my fingers are placed, this looks like it would be the last song, which was Cellar of Ghosts. Just based on where my fingers are positioned, I think that's the song. Look at this, dude. Look at this. Mark does so much with his hands. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like our original. Here, let me open a new tab. I don't know if you've ever seen like our original thing, but Mark is a dervish on stage. Okay, he just is. Look at this, Kardashev live, which is only going to be one video. This one here. Look at this guy, dude. Watch the way he walks around and he like interacts. I'll scooch it a little bit. We don't need to listen to it, but just watch him as the subject, right? He like does this like dance thing. Oh, there's the projector I was talking about. See the big projector? We didn't have a drummer. So we had these like, and Mark just made these on, what's it called? On, not Premiere, After Effects. He literally did like hours and hours of After Effects YouTube tutorials, and he came up with this synchronized live performance. There's the laptop, there's the Axe effects. That's our old bass player, Chris. I love that Mark was on the ground. I think if I remember correctly, part of the conversation, Mark said to us, hey, I'm just going to stand on the floor because there's nobody here standing up close to the stage, and we need room for the projector, and I don't want to knock it over, so I'm just going to go stand on the floor. And we were all like, all right, sick. Yeah, this was 10 years ago, dude. I mean, this was actually longer than that ago, but yeah, 10 years ago. So you can kind of see, like, here we are rocking out, Mark doing his, like, dance and crazy stuff on the floor. Anyways, yeah, so he is very animated. He was more so back then. Maybe he will be in the future. Who knows? Sean's forehead making an appearance yet again. Here we go, dude. I promise I don't look that cool. I promise. It's CGI. The guitar is a paid actor. Dude, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, we can talk about the drip a little bit. I mean, look at the shoes, bro. They're black without laces. Oh, game over. I'm a ninja, dog. Look at this thing. Yeah, so there's my wife's pants, which I love and will continue to wear on a regular basis as long as they're clean. And here's the cool shirt that has a hood on it, and it has like this 3/4 sleeve thing going on, and these 2 fake pockets on the breast. It's like so sick. No forehead from Sean in this one. Shocker. Okay. Just accept it, Nico. You're that cool. I'm not. I'm not. Look at that samurai. Dude, there's one shot, and we will see it today. There's one shot of me, and I look like a samurai because I'm like whipping my head like left or right, and my hair is like following me, you know, as much as it can, and it creates one of those like rice field hat look. Like I look like Raiden, but my hat is hair. I look like Raiden. It's unreal, dude. So this was super sick. As you can see, people along the railing all across. Kardashev up on the big screen. They had 2 jumbotrons, one on the left and one on the right of the stage, but they didn't do camera work. They just showed the band's name / logo so that you know who you're watching, which I think is genius. I love that they do that. You can see Alex picking his nose here. Here, let's take a closer look. There he is. Just finger full on. No, I'm kidding. I think he's like just scratching his face or something. But yeah, dude. Sick. Here's some fans. Just slaying it. This guy right here flew all the way from America. I'm so sorry if I don't remember anybody else's face in this photo, but I appreciate all of you. Also, Aristides, where's that endorsement? Yo, man, you're telling me. They don't really have room on the roster right now, according to them. And I don't think I qualify anyway. So be it. More fans. There's Mariana. She comes from Spain. Here we go, bro. Oh. Dude, look at this. Look, it's a little bit too close. Look at that. Holy heck, my guy. Holy heck. Only a cool guy would say he isn't cool. Yeah, I guess so. Maybe. Look at that guy. Looking sick as hell, dude. That bass is incredible. And the guy running the overload booth, again, I'm so sorry I forgot your name. I want to say like Mateo or Matala or something like that. He was very nice to us. He was super congenial. He offered to sell us the bass at a 10% discount from the festival right then and there, but I don't have 2,400 euros, so that wasn't going to happen. But yeah, incredible craftsmanship. There's 2 really cool standout, actually 3 really cool standout features about this bass that I can remember right now. The first one, which you're not going to really get from this photo, but might be on their website, is that the headstock, where the string gets pressed down onto the head, the sort of headstock that is there, instead of having 1 bolt like most headless guitars, it has 2. So if one of them fails and tries to slip and let the string fall out, you have a backup in place. That's really cool. It's over-engineered, but I actually love it, and I wish they did that with the Aristides. The second thing, besides what Caesar said with it having a stone top, this actually looks like it's made of stone, and it's gorgeous. The second thing about this is that you have a passive and active preamp. There's a little toggle switch right there, and if you leave it down, the bass is in passive mode, and then if you flick it up, it goes into active mode, and the output nearly quadruples. It's just completely different signal at that point. So that's really cool. And then the last thing is these tuning machines that hold this side of the string in place on the bridge. These are custom engineered for overload guitars in Italy. It's not an aftermarket that they buy and then install on the machine. They are specifically built for their basses, for their guitars. So it's absolutely beautiful instrument. It plays incredibly well. Alex said it was amazing to play. Not like, oh, it was good, or, oh, I figured it out. He was like, dude, that was amazing. So I was like, damn. That's incredible feedback. Let's see if we can pull up their website really quick. Overload Guitars. Because we can look at some specs for those of you that are like super duper. Oh my God, look at this thing. Oh yeah, that's right. They're sponsored. They sponsored Ginger, and I think also this Zuteki guy, whatever his last name is. What's his name? I don't know his name, but this guy looks like Jacob Zakatoki or whatever. Let's go to their bases really quick. So we used the Achilles, and we used this one, the 5-string. And there it is. And this top is made of stone. So it is an ash body with a wenge layer. And the body's top is flamed poplar or flamed ash. Okay, this one doesn't have the stone. But everything else look... Oh, no, it's not even multi-scale. Wait, maybe it's... Is it this one? No, because that's a 4-string. And we didn't use the Ginger signature. Maybe it's not the Achilles. Maybe it's the Fujin. But it doesn't have the switch on it. I don't know. Maybe this one was custom, and that's why they brought it to the shop. I'm not sure, but the one we used had a stone top. It had multi-scale. It was 5-string, and it had a passive and active preamp. So, whatever. You want to look? Oh yeah, and the guitars, bro. Look at these things. Are you joking? When I was talking to the guy, I have a photo of all the guitars and all the instruments that they brought with them. But when I was talking to the rep, I looked at the guitar and I was like, tell me about this guitar. And I didn't tell him anything about me. I was just trying to see like how he was going to treat me and whether or not... This is a thing that I do. Sometimes I won't start the conversation with, hey, I'm that guy that you were talking to. I'll just act like a nobody so I can see how they would interact with me without a pretext, right? I think this was the one... Yeah. This one here. Nope, 7. It was the 7. It just had a different color, but they have a bunch of different finishes. It looks wild. It looks crazy. He did tell me that the pickup covers are cut from the same piece of material that the topper is cut from, so that it kind of matches with whatever gradient or whatever. Yeah, super sick. I wonder if this one has the hardware... Yeah, on the head it has the overload bridge. So that's their proprietary bridge that has the double locking system, which is super sick. Yeah, it looks amazing. I would have totally played one if I didn't have my Aristides, but I didn't want to ask him to borrow it just so it could be my backup. Like, that felt kind of shady and like disrespectful, so I just went with what I had. I wasn't worried about it. Jacob Zukatuki, yeah, whatever his name is. Caesar says the bridge is awesome. They told me that they just finished the design for the same bridge on the guitars. Yeah, he told me that too. The tuners are amazing. They use ball bearings and are very smooth. Also, the new adjusting saddles are great. I did not go that far into the details with him, but it sounds like you did. They look amazing. Yes, Jenny, they do. I would love to have that 5-string bass for Alex, even if he lives in America. He can leave it at my house. I would just leave it at my house. You know what I mean? Maybe it was the Chrono. No, this is a 4-string. Oh, there's a Chrono 5. Yeah, this one doesn't have the topper on it either. This one looks like it could have stone. This one looks like stone. Maybe the Ginger signature has the option. Finish options. Guess not. Anyways, long story long. Beautiful bass. Highly recommend if you're in the market for a boutique custom instrument, giving them a check. I didn't get to play their guitars, but Alex said the bass was amazing. I tried the guitar with the stone top and it played very well. Awesome. There you go. More anecdotal evidence of how good something is. This makes me want to be a bass player, lol. You should do it. There it is, dude. Sorry to immediately shock everyone with my awesome like Japanese/Chinese/Asian cool hat trick prowess, but there it is, man. Look at that. Let me back it out one frame. Look at that. Look at that thing. Look at that thing, bro. That's unreal, dude. I do not look that cool in real life, I promise. You can't even see Sean's forehead. What is the value in this photo? It's awful, dude. No, this is incredible. The get up, even Alex and Mark were like, dude, you look so fucking cool. You have to wear that as like whenever we play. And I was like, say less. Say less. Dude, it's like you're unsheathing a katana if you squint hard enough. I don't see that, but okay. I'll give it to you. Nico grew a bonsai. Dude, some straight samurai shit. It's insane. And there's probably the immediately following photo. Because you got to imagine that here, I was like getting ready to swing. So I went from right to left. And then they caught my hair getting caught up. And then there was me in full swing. Just like, ugh. You know, just doing my thing, dude. Crazy. And this goes back to what I was talking about. It's hard to tell in these photos. I mean, I'm sure that the video will show. But it's hard to tell that, like, my hair goes all the way down to the fretboard. And I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, you kind of hang your head a little bit because your neck's tired, but absolutely got in the way of the fretboard. Oh my gosh, look how good my custom printed, 3D printed knob looks. Oh, that reminds me, Caesar, were you able to put the knob on your guitar, or did you even try it? It's probably too big, honestly. This frame comes from an episode of Shogun. Sponsored by this. Nico's the new protagonist of Ghost of Yote. I am really interested in that game. Would love to check it out. Ludo says, about the earlier remark about Sean being a machine, I joked to him that he does more strokes in certain fills than certain bands in an entire song at that festival. He probably loved that. Yeah, he's a monster. You know, the thing is, sometimes I'm hypercritical of live videos of drummers when you can hear... Every time it happens, Jenny's going to just pop his face in there. Love you, babe. Appreciate that. But every time I hear a live video, sometimes I can find myself in the hypercritical category of listening to what they're doing and being like, oh, geez, the drummer's feet just aren't consistent, or that guitar player missed his guitar solo. But those are the moments that you live for. Those are the moments that you hope to be pleasantly surprised by. And so when I'm listening back to like the recording of us playing live, I can hear Sean's feet not being perfect, like flawless. I can hear my guitar playing being good at best. I can hear the quavers in Mark's voice. I can hear I can hear Alex hit the wrong fret during a riff. And I just don't care. I just don't care. I don't give a fuck. Dude, 95% of what we did sounded awesome. And the 5% that didn't, so be it. That's if you went to a company and you said to them, you guys are 95% the best company, the best version of your company, that company would be like, sick, raises all around. You know what I mean? So I don't worry about the imperfections. Sean's forehead isn't big enough. The important criticisms. That's what I'm saying, dude. His forehead needs to be bigger. Yeah, Caesar, exactly. The expectation should be that it's not perfect. I totally agree. There you go. Big stretch from Mark. There's those packs I was talking about, right? The packs. And there's Mark just stretching with the light, looking all majestic and cutting through. Look at those light rays, dude. They're definitely using Unreal Engine 5. Look at this. This is unreal. Abzo, what's up, man? How are you doing? What's up, dude? Welcome to the stream. We are approximately, how many hours in are we? 2.5 hours in. Whoops. And we just talked about all of the crazy moments leading up to the performance, and now we're looking at some live shots and some videos of that performance. Hope you're doing well today. Showing off that beautiful dad bod. Exactly, dude. He's a full-grown man. So here's another one of like just kind of like, this is a wide shot. You can see the edges of the stage and just kind of how big it was relative to us, and the way that the lights were positioned and the fog that we had, and like just the depth of people and sort of how dense they were packed in there. What's up, Kippo? What's up, man? How you doing today? Cuntwin says, you got a shot of Mark's special mouth, beard, stretching face? Yeah, somebody does. I don't think it's in this set. This is one photographer. Well, I gotta clarify. One person uploaded all these photos to me with permission to like publish and talk about them publicly. So it could be multiple photographers because otherwise I don't know how they were getting some of these shots. I think this was like the Euroblast group of photographers that are like, that either volunteer or are paid to do this job for the bands. I think that's what happened. He did. I got him. You got him? Yeah, a bunch of people did capture Mark doing his screamy cheekies. You know, when he opens his mouth like this, and you can just hear how much different my voice is than if I just talk like normal. So, another great shot of Alex with that incredible bass. Still, no forehead from Sean. It's really sad about that. Doesn't matter. Cool silhouette of Alex with purple light under his crotch. See, right here, this should be an ad for whatever company this was. I think it was called like Elixir Water or something. Exalier. I don't know how to pronounce it. But this would be a great ad for them. Like, Exalier Water. Full of phytotoxins and vitamins that your body needs when you're in your most dire moments. No foreheads were found in this photo, but the important part glows in purple. Exalier Water. This is what we have. You know, this is it. Look how good it is under this man's crotch. Perfect. Euroblast photographers are amazing people. Oh yeah, and we haven't even talked about a group of photographers that were part of our travel group. So Cuntwin, incredible username by the way. Cuntwin actually met with us for dinner a couple nights before we performed, and we asked to hire him for headshots and new band photos. The first real band photos where we're not photoshopping Sean or Alex into the photo set. Gianluca here, who is in chat with us, is the only person ever in the history of Kardashev to get us a full band lineup photo in person. Crazy, dude. But we had two photographers in our group. Gianluca was one of them, and we wanted to hire him for the lineups and the headshots, and those are likely going to be the ones that are sent out with the press release for the new album and published into, you know, magazines and internet articles and all kinds of stuff. And then this is an interesting story. I'm going to tell you guys this story from my perspective. So probably about a month and a half, probably 6 weeks before we played Euroblast, I got a message on Instagram after I had put out a request to all of our followers. I said, hey, if you're a videographer or photographer that is near Cologne, Germany, or plans on being at Euroblast, send me a message, and I would love to see if I could work with you to film a music video or do headshots. That was kind of the idea. The band and Metal Blade, we said, hey, we need to make the most of the time that we're in the same geographical zip code together, and so we need to try to film a music video or two. We need to get some press photos, and then we need to get some people on board to take photos and video of the live set. Now, that's a really big ask from a band that hasn't even played together before, because we are already stressing about the performance side of the equation. But now they're asking us to do like enough prep to hire professional video and photo teams, and also schedule all of it, and then vet those people to make sure that they're qualified and they're not just some shitlord on the internet with an iPhone that has cool filtered photos. No shame on those people, but we need a different caliber of professionalism that involves contracts and NDAs. It's just a different world when you start to get into like the legal side of it all. But we needed to do all this work too, and so we're like, fuck man, all right, we'll do our best. So I knew that Gianluca was going to be part of the equation from the get-go, but I get a message from this random person, a lot of random people that day, random fans, and one of them was from this guy, Romain. And he said, hey guys, I saw that you're looking for a photographer. I'd love to do photos of you at Euroblast. If you'll have me, just put me on your guest list and let me know, and I'll make the travel to go there. And I didn't really think about it because I got probably 15 or 20 responses that day, and I was a little bit burnt out. So I just said to him, hey, thanks so much for the offer, appreciate it, I'll let you know, and kind of moved on. And this is a cautionary tale for those of you that might tend to blow things off a little bit sooner than you should and not really give them the chance to blossom, right? Short-sightedness oftentimes doesn't yield returns. So this was 6 weeks before performance. Probably 3 weeks, maybe even 2 weeks before we performed, I get a follow-up message from Romain. And he's like, hey guys, did you hear anything from the festival or your management team about my being on your press guest list? And it was with this message that I was like, oh shit, I forgot to get back to this guy. So I quickly emailed the festival and I said, hey, can you put Romain and his last name on the press pass, on the photo pass list, which looked like this, by the way. Euroblast 24 photo pass, right? They were like, hey, can you, I said, can you put him on there? And I got an email back almost immediately that said, he's on the list, you're good to go, +1, or, whatever it was. And so I just sent it, I took a screenshot of that and I sent it right back to him. And he said, oh, wow, thank you so much, this is amazing. And he was super grateful. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Fast forward to the night we meet with Gianluca for dinner before the performance. And he says to me, hey, I heard you got Romain on your press pass. He's like, dude, that guy's like one of my idol photographers. He's like the GOAT. And I was like, what? No, dude, you're the GOAT. Like, what are you talking about? This guy's the GOAT. And he's like, you got to see his stuff. So I pull out my phone. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I go and I look at it. And he's really good at photography. Very good at live photos. Gianluca will be the first one to sing his praises. But it wasn't until I met him that I realized that I kind of blew him off. And I felt bad because the day that we were to meet so I could give him his photo pass, he has his own. This is just an extra. The day we were to meet, Gianluca finds me and he's like, hey, look who I found. And he points out Romain. I don't even know what this guy looks like. I can see his work on his profile, but I don't know what he looks like. And so Gianluca shepherds this guy to me and he's like, hey, here's the guy that you're looking for. And I was like, whoa, man, nice to meet you. And I shake his hand and he's very quiet. He's very reserved. He's just like, hello, thank you for letting me be here. Some very nice sort of expression of gratitude. And I was like, dude, thank you so much for being here. I'm looking forward to your work. Okay. I hand him his press pass and then Mark and I have to fuck off to go get ready for the show or whatever it was. But when you're an artist at these things, you just always have to fuck off somewhere because everything is has to be done yesterday. It feels like the energy of a lot of this stuff. So we leave. We do the whole show. We do the whole show, shit and shebang. And the next day, we get tagged in a post from, actually it might have been that night or the next day, whatever. We get tagged in a post from Romain, and they're really good photos. This was the first photo that I actually adopted the saying, I promise I don't look that cool in real life. We're gonna go look it up. We're gonna pull it up right now. Okay? We're gonna pull it up. Romain, I don't know how to spell his last name. I think this is Gianluca. Do you have a link? Can you toss me a link really quick? I don't know how to spell this dude's name. I think it's Bellas. Ah, this is it. I found it. Never mind. Okay, there he is. Super cool guy. 4,000 followers on Instagram, and I was like, damn, actually, that's pretty. That's not a nobody, but it's also okay, all right, maybe I do give him a little bit more credit. And then this comes out, dude. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Are you joking? I promise I don't look that cool. I super duper duper promise. He's so humble. He's so quiet. He was so patient with me when he messaged me the first and the second time. And then at the festival, he messaged me and he's like, hey, I'm here now. Where are you? And I didn't even see it because I was just too busy in my own world. And look at this fucking picture. unreal, bro. Look at all these pictures. Look at this. Look at the lighting. Dude, all these pictures, fuck. This one's really cool. I can't do it on here, but it's like a tour. It's a twofer. Like, you see, like, they connect. So it's like actually this really cool wide shot. You can just see Alex's silhouette and all the gear. This is the thing I was talking about. Hey, remember we were talking about all the bullshit that Jan had to plug in? This box right here has like 30 plugs in the front and the back. And then he has to plug all that shit into this like Matrix universe looking ass cyborg sentinel mainframe architect yielding AI system or whatever over here. You can't see it in this photo, but like it's crazy complicated. You can see a bunch of the cables. Look at this, dude. It looks like we're in Zion. Not Zion. We're in the mainframe. Look at this thing. Anyways, yeah, so there's this one. That's about as cool as I look. Right there. Anything else, they're paid actors. It's just not happening. But there you can see my cool shirt, and you can see the pants again. Look at the lighting, dude. The red on the blue. Insane. Yeah, you guys should all look at this guy. So really quick, Alex looks at, there's the big pluggy guy. Oh man, can I zoom in on this? Can I like? I wish I could. Fucking Instagram. Can I scroll? Nope, it doesn't want to work that way. Anyways, Alex looks super cool. There's the big mainframe that I was talking about. You can kind of see it, and the Pokemon bottle is also my wife's, and it's a paid actor. Okay. Also, Mark's shoe, paid actor. Look at him. He's a machine, dude. Look at that guy. Look at this. This is how cool Mark looks, by the way, in real life. He always looks like he has an aura. He just does, dude. Look at this guy. It's crazy. Oh, Caesar says, also everyone must know how much of a badass Gianluca is. He crowd surfed while taking photos during one of the sets, and he's a legend. Yes, he did, and he showed us the photo he took of, like, he took a photo, like, down, and you can just see his legs, and then this crowd of people holding him. Dude, Gianluca, you have to post that if you haven't. If you've posted that, we're going to your profile right now, and we're looking at it. Need some more lens need me some lens filter as well. Yeah, this is insane, dude. Look at these. Look how cool these are. There you go. I promise I'm not that cool, bro. I look like I'm in Dragon Ball Z, and I'm powered up, dog. Look at this. I have an aura, bro. This is crazy. The smoke is on me. I have this like orb of energy like around my body. I'll never look this cool again in my life. I swear to God, I will never look this cool again. And that's fine. At least it was documented and I can pretend like it was real. You know? The energy field is a paid actor. That's all I have to say. You're just that cool, bro. Your hair is not yet on fire. Yeah, there you go. You can tell this was during the first or second song because my hair wasn't down yet. So, yeah. The machine. Do it, Jenny. Do it. Do it. Atta girl. The machine, dude. Look at that. Oh God. I asked Romaine for the full what's it called? When they're not compressed and they're not on social media, whatever it's called. The full definition, the HD. So we can get like this photo, which is also a wide. Look at the... Yeah, the raw, not the raw. I don't mind if it's edited. It can be edited and filtered and stuff, but I just want the full res. I want the full res because we have to, that's all that they will accept as far as I know. That's all that like magazines will accept is it has to be really high DPI, like really high megapixel count or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how that shit works. But look at these dudes, man. You won't get the raw files. No. I don't need the raws. I just want the high, the full, the big ones. Just that they're big with high DPI or something. So anyways, that's Romaine. Romaine Baez. What an incredible photographer. Insane. And that's not to underplay other photographers. Everybody did a wonderful job, but I really wasn't ready for this. And the other thing was, I asked him, I was like, hey dude, yeah, what's your fee? And he's like, oh, just get me on the guest list, like, don't worry about it. And now I'm seeing these photos and I'm like, no dude, you're worth like a lot of money. Ooh. Yeah, that was crazy. Back over here. So this is back to Pixel Pleaser. So if you guys want to follow these people, here's Romaine. There's Romaine's in the chat, and then Pixel Pleaser. This is the person who we are looking at the photos on Google. This is their account. Right here. Dude, it's all about the shoes in this photo. Like, look at this, dude. Look at the drip on the shoes. They just look like samurai shoes, right? There's no laces. There's no, like, bulkiness. It just looks like I'm like a Ninja Turtle and I've got these little... They're not toe splitters, though. They're just regular $30 shoes with no laces on them. They use the sock web technology. Ludo says, is the last photo the singer from Brutus? Oh, wait, before we do that, look. Jackie took this photo of Eddie. Eddie is the left-handed guitar player in Ayahuasca who I talk to frequently and was able to let us borrow their equipment. So, yeah, man, he looks freaking sick also. So sick. Great photos. So on Romaine, you said the singer from Brutus. Yeah, that's probably her, dude. Yeah, Brutus, right there. That's absolutely her. Amazing. Look at that. Dude, I love Brutus so much. Oh, another panorama. I wish we could drag it like you do on their phone, but we can't. Holy hell, dude. Oh my gosh, what a photo. Oh my god. Yeah, dude, bruv to vis. That looks incredible. Yeah, Romaine. I get it now, Gianluca. I see what you mean when you say Romaine's a goat. I see it. I really do. Look at these filters. Insane, dude. Oof. Oh, look at those lights. Oh my god, it looks so sick. I like, Gianluca does this a lot. I like when photographers do this like collage thing. You know, like that is just so neat. Oh my god. This guy looks that cool. When the ring is around me, I just can't take credit, dude. That was a paid actor. That was my clone. You know what I mean? Look at that. I'm not that cool, man. That's insane. Romaine, you're a badass. Yeah. If we ever play in Europe again, I'm just hiring Gianluca and Romaine. Like, those are my guys. We're going out together, dude. Anyways, the shoes are fire. Oh! I don't look this cool. I really don't. Ouais, bonjour. I don't know what that means, Elwa, but bonjour back to you. Bonjour. Another sick photo. It's got like this kind of double exposure thing going on. Look at the strings. They're like in two places at once. Do you see that? Not as cool as you. I'll never look as cool as you, dude. You're like a badass, Abzo. Look at that, dude. Crazy. The ISO is just was set so right. It's wild. Also, there's this cool thing that I've started doing more intentionally, and this photo shows it. You'll notice there's no pick in my hand because I would be holding it. Or maybe it's, yeah, I would be holding it. But I can tell by this chord shape that this was during glass phantoms when I descend the fretboard in this like Dorian scale. And this is right when it's, oh, tell my father his bastard son has come back into the place of his birth to take his claim. Right during that part. This is the, oh, tell my father, boom. This is that chord because I'm doing a flamenco pick with my fingers, right? It sounds like this. That's what's happening with my hand there, and it's so sick that he caught that on camera. Because I only do it twice. And he caught it. So how rad is that? Crazy, dude. Yeah, Leviathan. It's so that it's two reasons. One, so I don't lose my pick during like a huge strumming section. And two, it's a distorted guitar, so you're not going to hear the articulation of all of those nails scraping the strings. So it's just ergonomically and visually better. When fans are watching it, they're like, whoa, what is he doing with his hand? It's not crazy, but someone who doesn't know just doesn't know, and so it adds a little bit of a visual value. And then for me, I get to take a break from squeezing a pick. So it has two really good uses. I'm curious, what did you use as gear for Euroblast? We had the Kemper Profile Player for the guitar. And for the bass, we used a Warwick bass head. And that's it. And then the rest of the gear was like all stuff that we borrowed from Ayahuasca. I honestly don't know. Jan set it up and he handed me packs and he was like, put this on, plug this in, put this on, plug this in. For the in-ears, not a clue. I don't have a clue. I could find out. I could text him, but like, I don't have a clue, dude. Yeah, sorry. I mean, if you want to know because you want to buy it or something, I will absolutely find out and I will send you a DM on Discord. That's no problem. I can do that for you. So let me know. There's Mark with his big stretch again in black and white. Oh my God. Look at this, dude. Look at this. Are you joking? I promise Alex is not that cool in real life. Look how sick he looks. Look at this. Look at this thing. I'm just kidding. He is that cool. He's going to hear me say that and be like, man, fuck you. And then I'm going to be like, yeah, never mind. Dude, look at this guy. Just look at the sweat. Look at the sweat just coming off onto this bass. Oh, so hot. What? No, what did you say? That's weird. I'm a nerd guy on this thing. Oh, I understand, Elwa. The sweaty Carta boy. And there it is in color. Oh, it looks like I zoomed in. There we go. Boom. Got that blue feeling. This was probably between sea and sky, but based on where his finger is, I don't think we used the 5th fret, so it's not that song. More fans rocking out, chilling. Yes. Yes. Look at that, dude. You can see the stone in the bass now. Look at this. You can see that it's a stone top. Yeah, all these little imperfections in the stone. It's beautiful. And it wasn't that heavy. It didn't feel like you were carrying a stone around, you know? It was nice. The machine. Do it. Everybody, we need the Sean emote. What is it? It's Kardashev, I think. What is it? Is it Brutal Sean? Brutal Chev? I don't even know what it is. I haven't been on here long enough. Yes. What is it? Carta's tough. Let's go. Carta's stuff. Yes, dude. The Kardashev. The Machina-Chev. No, that's our laptop. The Machina-Chev. Yeah, man. He looks fucking hard as nails. Oh, purple silhouetted Alex. Incredible. Oh, look at that. Just really quick. Like, in the spirit of identifying details in this medium, look at how the light on the fret on the string just is the top string to like the 4th fret, and that's it. And then over here, like this underglow of the frets. Oh my gosh, dude. This is the kind of analysis that like I imagine miniature painters go through when they're trying to do non-metallic metals, which is NMM, or some other kind of like reflective techniques. So we saw this one earlier with Alex here, but it was in black and white. But look how intense Mark looks. Whew. There he is, dude. Big Daddy. Any new shows planned? No, Elwa. We do not have any shows planned. We have talked about possibly doing another festival in the next year, but we have no offers and no intentions right now. There you go. And that's all the photos. A ton of them. And that's just from one photographer. Like I said, I haven't received the full res from Romaine yet. I haven't received all of the photos from Gianluca yet. There's a bunch of photographers and videographers that we just haven't even seen most of this from. But as soon as we do, it's going to be nuts. Look at this one. Watain. They give the fans a torch? That's probably not good. Damn, these photos are nuts, though. Look at that lighting. Jeez. Crazy. All right, let's see if I can pull up some video footage for you guys. So, all right, let me pause the music. Actually, it doesn't matter. It's really quiet. So here's one. Volume check. That sounded really good, but where'd the bass go? Hold on, now that we're doing some analysis, listen to the bass, and then it's just gone. You guys should start a band. And it's gone. Yeah, interesting. I wonder if the bass cut out there. That's crazy. I did not know that happened. Because again, as I said in the beginning of this stream when we were talking about, not the beginning, but the middle of the stream, I couldn't hear Alex the whole time because I didn't have a control of my mix in my headphones. Let's try this one. By the way, before we go any further, these are thanks to Mariana. So if anybody knows her on social media, big shout out to her for providing these. Oh, nope, sorry. these ones aren't Mariana. That's the next set that we'll look at. This was, what was her name? Crap, I can't think of her name. I'll think of it. Anyways, let's check it out. Yo, I forgot to tell you guys this little piece of the story. So on the second day that we were practicing in the studio, we ran through the set one time, had a practice run to warm up, went outside, and then when we came back in, Sean looks at Alex and he's like, hey, at the end of Beyond Sun and Moon, when we do the ba 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 dum, he's like, just strum it with me. And let's just make it like bum, bum, like this like really tribal moment that's super powerful. And you can see here that they pulled it off. Right here, you'll see Mark, he like stomps and beats his chest to the same thing. Right here. That was planned by Sean and Alex. How cool is that? Yeah, Mark's a bear. Dude, these videos sound really good in my earphones, so I'm not going to lie. We're going to listen to one more. Here we go. Oh my God, dude, it gives me chills, bro. Woo! Also, whoever's phone that is, when you zoom in, it like narrows the microphone. That was crazy. I'm erect. Kippo says, I remember you practicing background vocals while playing on a stream in the past. Was that supposed to be for Euroblast? No, it's not intentional for Euroblast. It's just me having fun doing something new while doing a task that I'm used to and I'm familiar with to such a degree that I want to spice it up, so I just do vocals. Or sometimes I'll try to talk to you guys while I'm playing like more complicated riffs. Or I have the channel redemptions that are like I can't use a pick, or I can't look with my eyes, or I have to do all of the guitar work with my mouth, and I have to go like tigga 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 tigga, and I have to like make noises like that, automatopoeias. It's just to spice it up. So no, I wasn't practicing for Euroblast. Just having fun with it. Okay, okay, so those were the 3 videos from person whose name I can't remember. I am so sorry. I will make sure you are credited next time we do that for sure. Okay, so I think this was Mariana, because it doesn't have their name in the zip folder, but she's the only one that we transferred me, like all of these videos. So I haven't seen these yet, so hopefully they're good. Let's find out. I'm going to interrupt this one because I think you guys will love this. Yeah, the lead tone sounds pretty good, right? The Roman, not Romaine. Romaine's the photographer. Roman is the front of house engineer. Roman, God, I'm sorry. Romaine is the photographer. Ramon, I keep saying his name wrong. Ramon is the front of house engineer. I shouldn't be messing up his name. I've hung out with him a lot of times since I've moved here. But anyways, Ramon, Ramoni, totally reliving the moment. Oh, that's so cool, Caesar. Me too, dude. This is so fun to watch. Also, for those of you that don't have headphones in and you're watching on like a device or something, I would recommend headphones because you can hear the bass and all kinds of stuff in this footage. It sounds great. Okay. So, Ramon made the recommendation, I think it was. He made the recommendation to me like, hey, or to Mark, when you sing, you need to have your mouth touching the microphone. And Mark's like, but when I do my like, ah, sort of yells, it's so loud, it's going to blast the microphone. And Ramon said to him, that's okay. We just need the microphone to be so quiet. So you need to be as close as possible at all times so that you're loud. But we need the microphone to be so quiet that it doesn't pick up the drum set behind you. And Mark was like, oh shit, I never thought of that because we don't play live. Spoiler alert, we don't play live. So because of that, you're going to see all of his performance. He's here. However, when you're at a concert, a modern concert, metal concert, where there are no amplifiers on the stage, and you are closer to the stage than the PA system's crossover point, where the sound waves begin to cross, which is usually around where the sound booth is, you can hear the things on stage in between everything coming out of the PA. And I'm going to show you that right now. Check this out. You're going to hear Mark hit the note before he's even near the microphone. Watch this. Right there. He goes, ah. Listen again. Ah. Do you guys hear that? The reason he's doing that is because before each of his vocals come in where he sings, we have a sine wave on the pitch that he needs playing only in his ears. So there's a sine wave going, and then he, away from the microphone, is matching the pitch, no. And then he brings the mic to his face and he smashes it. Look at this. Let's do it again. Yeah. So if you see any live footage and it's right before Mark's about to sing something, listen for him doing it away from the microphone because he's pitch matching with the sine wave. And this is pre-designed in a file that is playing in our ears. It's called a stage guide. The stage guide tells us things like beyond. It'll sound exactly like me because it's my voice. I'm the one that recorded it. And it's me in our ears saying, beyond sun and moon, 6 count. And then you hear the click come in. And then we start. So it's 2 bars of the click, but you hear my voice say it. Similarly, it tells us when to go on stage, when to tune our guitars. So for those of you that are enlisted travelers, and I'm gonna provide the practice footage to you of us in the studio, you're going to hear my voice tell me, Nico, tune your guitar for Snow Sleep. And it's so much louder than the rest of the guide track that I actually I'm getting startled every time it happens. And I always yell. I'm always like, oh, because it's stressful to me that I have to run over to my tuner and like push the button and then like boing, 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 and then do all the tuning. It's crazy. All right, let's go to the third video here. Okay, who asked if he did his screamy cheekies? Somebody asked if someone caught that on footage. Boom, right here. There it is. Yeah, he's spreading cheeks, dude. That was a short one. So this is BA and 8.6. So here's BA 8.6. All right, so we're on to this one. Dude, we got another angle of that song. That's so cool. Yeah, dude, there's you. Yeah, in the pit. And the awoo is always Chris. Chris is the loudest in the crowd. So Sean is a fucking machine. Listen to these feet. Dude, what? Dude, what? Insane, dude. His feet are unreal, bro. Looks like we've got 4 left. Let's check them out. Yeah, no kidding, dude. Dude, that's fucking crazy to listen to from whatever camera angle or whatever cell phone this is. Dude, cell phone technology is getting scary. Like, this sounds so good. These cell phone videos, this is crazy. We got 3 left. Let's check them out. Damn it. I just want a full video. This is so fun. I'm sorry, guys. I hope I don't sound like I'm up my own ass, but this is fucking cool to see yourself doing this. Shit, this is cool, dude. It's crazy. Hey, Grace. Okay, I have to do a quick call out. So this is the Spare Me From This. Oh, how my father, his bastard son. Also, hi, Grace. Hope you're doing well. We're just reviewing some footage of Euroblast. So if you watch closely, and it might be kind of hard on your screen, I'll do my best to point it out. But if you watch closely right here, you can see where I put my pick in my mouth. This goes out to Leviathan. I put my pick in my mouth so that I can start the flamenco playing in this section so I can rest my thumb, but then also not lose my pick in like a huge 16th note strum pattern. You can see there I have no pick in my hand. It's kind of hard on that screen, but maybe you can check it out. Okay, so let's watch again. Ludo says, I just downloaded Vodum's version of Snow Sleep. It sounds amazing. Yes, I know. They doesn't need to be there. The why. Oh, okay. Got it. That was sick. Such a cool thing to come up with during that section. Yeah, I've been doing it in practice. Like I said, after I moved here, I didn't have a computer for a month or a way to like really get everything going. And then when my computer finally arrived, I basically had like 6 weeks, 8 weeks roughly, to actually practice on a regular basis. And so when Jenny's at work, I would practice. Sometimes when she was home, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to run through the set. And I'll tell you this much. I was still sketchy on Cellar of Ghosts. I was still like, ooh, like a little unsure going into this show playing Cellar of Ghosts. Not the whole thing, just enough of it that I was like, ooh, there's like a tinge of anxiety in there, you know? All right, last video. So I noticed something in that video. It sounds like Mark was doing a different melody in the vocal line, or the person filming the video or someone very close to them and their microphone was singing it with him. I don't know. I can't tell. Yeah, Mark's voice isn't that high. Dude, that's so sick. The crowd was singing. Listen to that. Do you hear how high the voice is of whoever's singing that? dude. Insane. Yeah, Mariana. Yeah, Mariana. I think these are her videos. So, Mariana, I want you to know you have a great voice. You were singing on pitch, but your voice was louder than Mark on the microphone. So, that's so tight. Good for you, dude. That's incredible. That's insane, dude. I love this so much. We're having fun. This is fun. I love fun. Okay, and then, excuse me, I need to drink some water. Like I said, I woke up this morning and I had a tickle in my throat. I think it's just the changing in the weather because it's getting really cold here in Germany. And we keep our window open at night so that we can basically have airflow. Abzo, we'll see you later, baby. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. We will see you next time. Again, as a reminder, for those of you that are dipping out, which might just be Abzo, I do plan on streaming every Wednesday and Sunday at 6 p.m. CEST, Central European Standard Time, which is 9 a.m. Pacific and noon Eastern. So every Wednesday and Sunday. Okay, so the last thing that I'll show is just a little preview of what it was like in our practice studio, so you guys can just kind of sample that. If I'm being honest, I am reserving it for our Enlisted Travelers, so if this is something that you want to check out and you're interested in supporting Kardashev, please do go to our website and sign up for the Enlisted Traveler program. The link is right there in the chat. Thank you all for your support who are already there. So here's a quick little preview of what it was like in our studio. Yep, he's right behind you.
Cool.
Alex, if you step back, you're out of frame.
Okay. I'm not coming through my mic. Am I coming through my mic for you guys?
No.
No.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Jan?
Yes.
It's not going?
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay.
Look how tall this fucking guy is. Are you ready? I'm 5'10".
It's on. Yeah, it's on. For sure.
He's like 1.5 feet taller than me, dude. By the way, before we go any further, because I am going to let you listen to just a smidge of this. This is Jan's Vanderhoost room. No, this is his studio, which normally doesn't have any of this sound treatment or this amplifier or the microphone or all the cables. Normally it doesn't have any of this because he's still building this studio. What you can't see out of frame, but I can show you with a cut later, is there's a wall behind Alex on the right side that has a window cut out in the middle of the wall where he's going to have glass eventually so that he can have an isolated recording room. And then the room that we're in will be what's called the talent room or the studio proper. What this means is it's like adjacent to to like the engineering room. And you have to insulate it with like 4 layers of drywall. And then you have to have, security glass. And you have to have a reinforced door in order to keep as much sound out of the recording room and leave it all in the studio proper. That's just the way that it works. So we'll keep going, but this room doesn't normally look like this. He put all of this together for us. He was incredible. Will his name be will he name the basement Cellar of Notes? I will ask him.
Still nothing?
And you can see Alex over here playing on his phone. He's working on his mix. He's trying to help troubleshoot Jan and me to hear so Mark can hear himself and so we can hear Mark.
Oh, he's coming through channel. Yeah, wait. There it is. Yep. Hey, can you sing as loud as you're gonna sing?
That would be my scream.
Yeah, because now you're gonna be super loud and I'm gonna need to adjust mid-play.
Okay, you want to do it right now?
Yeah.
I can't hold it for very long.
No thanks.
No thanks.
Try now.
That'll be better. Oh, this is a very taxing screen.
Yay! You just use my phone to change yours? Yeah.
Oh, okay, hold on. This brings up a good point. Alex just said to me, did you just use my phone to change your in-ears? Yes, I did. So part of the way that this works, you can kind of see it down here, all those crazy cables that look like the main frame of the Matrix right here. This rig runs everything, and the laptop on top controls like the patch changes, the MIDIs, or the click track, and like a bunch of other stuff. But remember I told you, our cell phones controlled what we could hear in our ears. My cell phone is the thing making this video. It's like hanging from one of those crazy, remember I was telling you there's like this bolt that hangs out of the wall and you can get tetanus if you touch it or if you look at it wrong. Yeah, it's a Behringer X32. My phone is hanging from this bolt taking this wide angle video. That's how we got this footage. So I can't change my mix right now. But Jan just changed Mark's microphone input, and that's why Sean was like, hold on, you're too loud now. I got to fix you again. Please yell. So I go over to Alex's phone right there, and I click on my name, which is a mixing subgroup, and I go over to channel 15 or whatever it was, and I turn down that fader, and now only my in-ears have less volume on the vocal mic. I didn't impact anybody else, even though I was using Alex's phone to change the way that I hear everything. So there's two forms of audio in this video for those of you that are enlisted travelers. This is the camera audio. And then when we start the set, I switch it to the recorded audio so you can hear what we're hearing in our ears.
Hey, Nico, here's an idea.
Tell me.
Maybe it's stupid, but do we want to start off stage and try following you?
Remember what I was talking about? Like this was, we got to perform how we got to practice how we're going to perform. In our ears, it says Sean on stage, Alex on stage, Nico on stage. Like it does that. You hear that saying because I was under the impression that if we start off stage, we'll need cues to know how much time we have before the clicks come in. Because if Sean gets up there and it's like 4 count and he's not even plugged in yet, he's not going to come in on time. So I had these cues prepared. So he's asking me, hey, do you want us to practice this? And this is our conversation.
Cues, or do we all just want to come on stage and ignore your cues?
I know my keys.
I was thinking about this last night in bed. I think you should just, once you're sound check, just chill. I
Yeah,
don't want
it's
you to
okay.
rush and then have to like plug in and figure out where we are in the pre-cue.
Okay.
So for you, if you want to stay sitting. Also, it's just kind of me like thinking like, this is how other bands do it, not like we should do it. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we can just all start on stage.
Yeah, we can all just be there and people, the lights go out and then they're all like, woo, and we're like, yeah, woo.
And then the lights come back on and we're like,
Whereas it's still us.
Hey, not much has changed.
No reveal.
Okay.
Jan, good? Good, here we go.
Okay, now you're going to hear the audio swap.
I am transformed, a shapeless artifact of myself long gone. There are fragments in my mind of who I once was.
fragments.
Memories are obscured by regrets, by apologies I'll never have the chance to make.
I'm already here.
Eyes no longer see them.
Right here.
Faces and shadows of those.
When you're hearing Sean talk, that's coming through the microphones that are above his drum
All
set.
I've seen blurs my vision. These eyes are not my own. I don't see myself in the mirror. I do not recognize this
I've never
image.
seen a band drop from the rafters. You ever seen Horse the Band or The Chariot?
I thought it was your chair.
These eyes can't be my own. I can't see myself in the mirror. I cannot recognize this image. Past.
Now the audio
Present.
switches. Okay. And that's where we'll leave it there. Sounds thick, right? Yeah, it sounds good. Actually, Jan and I are planning on meeting mid-October, and we're gonna get these recordings sounding as good as possible, so that we can release it, possibly release it as like a live thing on Spotify, whether it's this one in the studio or I hope that it's the audio from the performance, but I have to get that green lit by a lot of people, so I don't know if we'll get that. We'll see. There's a lot of permissions and bureaucracy that go into whether or not you're allowed to release it, because a lot of people's names are associated with it, you know? You have not only the band and the performers, which can sometimes be different, but not in our case. You also have copyright holders. You have mechanical licensing royalty holders, which is Metal Blade. You have the live engineers who are recording it. You have the festival's permission. You have to get I'd have to get Jan's permission. So like there's a lot of people that are involved in whether or not you're actually allowed to do that. And I found out recently that when bands know they are going to record a live performance, oftentimes, I don't know if you know this, but oftentimes they will tell the crowd ahead of time, hey guys, this show is being recorded for a live performance album. So we need you guys to really make a lot of noise and just, go crazy just as much as you normally would. But if you want to be even louder, that'll sound good on the album. And they usually cheer. But then they say, also, we might play a couple of songs more than once because the first take didn't get captured properly, or or the performance wasn't very good, right? So maybe there's a technical issue, or they just need to do it better. So they'll record the whole set and the audience, and then at the end, somebody, whoever it is, comes over and they'll like, do this one again, do this one again, do this one again. And then usually the singer's like, all right, everybody, you get to hear this and this and this song again, so go fucking crazy, here we go. And then, they play those 3 songs over again. And then that way the engineers get to pick the best performances from all of that and put it together so that you can experience it at home. So it's really cool. It's fascinating that they do that. We definitely were not given that privilege because we didn't really know how to plan for that. This kind of goes back to my my sort of reflection on the logistics and the amount of anxiety that I put on myself to even put this together. I can't imagine also doing that preparation, getting the festival's permission for that kind of thing. Not that we would have had the time, right? You have to be a headliner to get these kinds of opportunities, I would imagine. Additionally, I would have had to schedule video crews and recording crews. The fact that this was recorded is purely coincidental. Jan offered to record the set for us. We didn't have it planned. The festival does not record it for you. They can, but they didn't have that prepared. So Jan did this for us on his own volition, on top of getting all the gear situated and troubleshooting with us and meeting us on the fly and providing his space and giving us his equipment. And that guy's awesome. I would 1,000% hire him to do a show for me, around the earth. I can't believe the amount of stuff he did. It's just unreal. So anyways, so now I was going to show you another cut. So I got an angle of Sean, so you can kind of see what he's doing. And this was the warm-up. This was the warm-up on day 2. Remember I said we did 2 sets on the second day? This was the warm-up. So if you see this angle or this angle, these were the warm-up takes. And this one is the actual one you're listening to that was recorded. So for the Enlisted Travelers that go watch this and listen to it, that's what you should expect. Also, here's what I was talking about, where he's still building the studio. He has the heavy door back there, but this glass where this hole is, it got stuck in transit and the delivery service didn't give it to him in time. So he had to put on headphones while he was in that room so that he could hear what he was recording from us. So it's really special. Anyways, yeah. So again, if you want to check this out and more behind the scenes stuff that we are absolutely going to be releasing to our enlisted travelers, and then eventually, hopefully, to the public, if I get all the right green lights, please do join the Enlisted Traveler program right there at that link in the chat. Okay, it is 9:30. I only planned to do 2 hours today, and my wife is probably pissed that we are not watching a movie right now, because it is my birthday and she wanted to order sushi, and I hope they're not closed, Jenny. I'm so sorry. But I am going to end the stream here. So massive shout out and thank you to everybody who was at Euroblast and all the people involved, and Ayahuasca and Jan and Ramon and Romaine and Gianluca and my wife and all of her friends and all of the fans and Caesar, and to the guys in the band who were willing to make the flight and abandon their families for a week so that we could make this happen. I'm really looking forward to having something more than just memories. I hope we have some live footage that's professionally recorded and edited and sounds good enough that we can release it with all the parties' appropriate green lights. I appreciate you all being here for the stream where I'm back to talk to you about my experience at Euroblast and all the cool stuff that happened. And you can see how good the paid actor who looks like me looks here in Romaine's photos. If you want to come back on Sunday, it'll be at the same time, 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time. It'll be 9 a.m. on Pacific Time and noon Eastern. On Sunday, we will be doing a community day where we're hanging out and probably playing some games together. So look forward to that. And until next time, have fun, be safe, use protection, don't die, and I love you.